Oh no, keep talking. I just, if in case you said something cool, I would just wanted to have it recorded.
I don't say cool, I do cool.
That's true.
Are we recording right now?
We are recording.
Okay, awesome. So
tell us what you feel about Hamas. No, just
about Hamas. Okay, so they ask a Jew. Let's start. A Jew.
Two of them.
Hamas, and you know, I like it on falafel. I don't like the red pepper Hamas.
Oh, really? I like
how about the garlic?
One. Yeah,
the
you said garlic at the same time.
Put a little sriracha in there. That's the move. So welcome to Close the Door Behind You, episode number 2.
That's it?
That's it.
Well, technically,
we're done.
It's technically
we're going home.
It's technically 4, but we we only picked the really good ones to put up. So we had two that weren't that good.
This is not definitely airing.
It's not definitely airing because
Okay.
you could say some stupid shit.
I always say something stupid, but you could edit the stupid shit.
Yeah, no.
We don't know how to do that yet.
We're not good at that.
Too old. You're old.
So introduce our guest.
So we're joined here with both comedian and musician Jeff Lawrence, who is also the head of the Laughing Buddha Collective, which is a stand-up comedy collective here. Jeff, am I missing any other credits? I mean, I'm sure you have 100.
Well, I mean, I believe in and I'm gonna just say something real quick. And it's like you go to a party and someone asks you, "What do you do?" And you say, "I'm a doctor."
You got to talk closer to the mic.
I'm a doctor. Got it. I'm a doctor. And I do a lot of different things. And the older I get, the more I just do what I love. So I would say I've been a professional singer-songwriter, comedian, producer, and chef.
Nice.
Chef, what kind of food do you make?
Good
food.
Yeah, delicious food.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We've got a takoyaki party going on right now in my apartment, by the way.
I would be happy to share.
Have you ever had takoyaki?
Oh yeah, takoyaki. Yeah. The Japanese, the fried stuff. It's great.
It's fried
takoyaki.
they
octopus balls.
Yeah, and they put crack in it, so you get addicted. Really
Yeah.
Well,
quickly.
only in
It's
the Lower
crack
East
and
Side.
octopus. It's just so good.
You like it that much? We can make my wife bring him down.
No, your wife cannot bring. Oh, she can get them and bring them down.
No, they're making
making
them
it
in the apartment right now.
Could I go and make the takoyaki and come back later? Because that's chef. Like cooking is number 1 on my list, and comedy's 4 right now. And I'm being honest. That's the way.
Do you know how to make takoyaki?
I've never made takoyaki. That's why that's far more interesting than this. I mean, I don't want to put your viewers, the ratings down.
agree.
It's kind of like making waffles.
Well, I actually have a friend who his name is Carl, and he has a whole food truck dedicated to takoyaki, and he calls it Carl's Balls, dude.
Okay. I don't know how many people want to eat Carl's. Like, I'm gay and I don't want to eat Carl's
people
balls.
line up.
I'm not eating anyone's balls.
No. People line up for like hours to go eat his balls.
This is where?
He always does it at like a Japan festival or something like that.
Oh, in Japan?
No, in a Japan festival like in New York.
Oh, they have those.
Yeah, they have Japan
Okay,
festivals.
so it's not just like Little Italy in San Gennaro.
No. There's like one street on in near Astor Place that's like Little Japan, but that's it.
I know that little street. It's on the catty corner. I used to go.
Yeah.
So I went into NYU in the late 80s. That's where we had sushi for the, back in eating sushi in the 80s was very cutting edge.
Yeah.
There was only like 3 places in the whole village. Like it was not like it is today. And if you ate it, most of your friends were like,
Ew.
no, they were like, what's it like?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Right. Yeah. Like nobody ate anything crazy like uni. They're like, ew.
My first sushi was funny is, the nori roll on the outside?
Okay.
I thought that was the skin. So I was peeling that off and eating the rice and whatever was inside, not knowing. Yeah, it was like, no, there's no internet, there's no instructions.
The waiter
you walk
didn't
in
look
and
at
it's
you?
like, okay, that's cod. No, I just started peeling the fish off. I thought that doesn't the outside look like the skin of a fish? I'm not. Come
no.
on.
I don't think so.
So
But I will say that's cool. That's like a perspective that you have. Proud of you.
Yeah, thank you.
how long you been doing
Derailed.
stand-up comedy?
One question at a time, folks. I'm sorry?
How long you been doing stand-up comedy for?
I started stand-up about 17 years ago. And prior to that, I was a rock singer. And I also did, what's interesting is I would tour Europe doing my rock and roll singer-songwriter, but I would do cover tunes as well, like big bands like Dylan and U2, and, for big crowds. And I started doing crowd work with them. Not realizing I was ever going to do comedy one day. So my chops in that practice, where you're from, what do you, and working these crowds was like 25 years ago.
it just came like second nature. Then you were just like, whatever, I'm going to start writing some material.
No, actually, what happened was, rock and roll involved a lot of drugs and alcohol, and I was going down hard. And I got sober, and when I got, like a lot of people, got sober, went to sober meetings, and there people were like, you got to do stand-up. I mean, you're so funny. No one ever said that to me.
I heard that AA meetings are kind of like stand-up comedy open mics. Because they give you the mic and you just get to talk, right? And a lot of people who are naturally funny can kind of like...
It's funny, I didn't say I went to AA, but he just kind of
He
outed me.
assumed.
It's the whole idea is it's anonymous. But, like, fuck it. Okay, so I went to, I went to everything, actually. But the point is, yeah, I mean, people deal with their pain and their recovery in very different ways. And for me, it was just everything out of my mouth was a joke. Mm-hmm. And then I took a stand-up class. Mm-hmm. And in the stand-up class, they punched in 25 people, and the instructor had never done stand-up.
Oh, that's lame.
And then they started bringing me into bringer shows. And the next thing you know, I'm being asked to do 15-person bringer shows. And I'm going to open mics, and they're using the F word and the C word and and the very, very homophobic, misogynistic, and I just said, there's got to be a better way. And that's when Laughing Buddha kind of started. We started the supportive room, the very low bringer, the small comedy classes that include stage, like 12 max, including stage time. You have to go on stage to take the classes because you can't teach stand-up in a classroom. It has to be live experience. And it just kind of took off. There was a niche and a need at that time. Now stand-up's gotten huge. It's mainstream, lots of communities, lots of different factions of stand-up and where you can find your home. And yeah.
Cool. So can we talk a little bit about your album that you're working on? Because I heard a couple of the tracks. Actually, I heard the whole album on at least what you've sent me.
Wow.
On 2 repeats. So I never give it a first try. But the 3 songs that I liked the most were What Not, It Is Not What It Is. What's
It's not what it is.
No.
I'll write that. I don't have that. It's not what it is.
No, it's What Is Not.
Well,
I like The Fences, and I liked I Am Sam.
I'm Just Sam.
I'm Just Sam. Yeah.
The Fence, I'm Just
But
Sam.
the other one, yeah.
Well,
it
the
is
single's
not-
Curveball. That's out.
Yeah, Curveball
The
is
Fence
good.
is the next single. We're starting the video soon.
Yeah.
The record's getting remastered and remixed because the producers were just fucking horrible. I can curse, right?
Of course.
Thank
Yeah.
God. Fuck.
encourage it.
Fuck. Horrible. Like typical nightmare of the artist. The artist comes in, haven't made a record in 20 years, and the producers realize, wow, this is the best thing we've worked on in 20 years. Let's steal it. And try and steal everything. The tracks, the publishing right is a nightmare. So unfortunately, that soured a lot of the experience. You're still looking for that track.
All Isn't Lost. That
All
was
Isn't
the one.
Lost. Yeah,
That was the one.
that's very popular with people because
Yeah.
that might be like the third. That's like a rock kind of ready.
Well, the guitar solo on that was dope.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
so funny because I hated it and made him redo it, and he redid it, and I liked the one you like better.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought it was unoriginal.
Ah.
He's great. Like, here's the thing. I've been very blessed. When my band was together, I played with Kinley Wolf was the bassist in The Cult. Mark Christian from the Big F, which was the Berlin spinoff. I've played with some, very lucky to play with some, great people. And so everyone that comes in has got the chops. It's just a matter of chemistry sometimes and what, sound and getting the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The right people.
The vibes.
And they've got to work, yeah.
Do you think that there's some similarities between music and comedy, like the timing?
The timing. What do you mean by the timing? Like in comedy, obviously timing's everything.
Well, it's almost like a dance, where you're giving the crowd something, you're waiting for them to kind of dance back with you with their laughter, hopefully, or their oohs and ahs, and then you're kind of going back and forth. And so it feels like sometimes when I watch people playing music to a crowd, they're kind of like looking for a certain reaction, and they're kind of like dancing back and forth with that reaction. And there's almost like a timing that's like a very rhythmic thing that happens when at least good comedians get up and kind of like control the room. So I don't know. I'm not a good comedian. I'm not a good musician. That matters.
That's not true.
It's a tough one. I never really looked at that. But I just like, to me, with music, you're locked in with your band. You're playing off the crowd. You're working the crowd a bit, but nothing's going to change.
Okay.
In that song,
But
you're
just
gonna
the
play
animation, right? Maybe the animation changes. Like the way you're
energy
moving.
from the crowd. Yeah, I mean, I'd say in that respect, yes. In that respect, if you have a crappy crowd out there, you're just like, oh, yeah, I can't wait till this good time.
But it's almost like your job to get the crowd to like interact, and like part of like being like a comedian is like, interacting with the crowd. And what you were saying is, when you would be done with a song and you'd be like, just like busting out some like little things and talking, you're getting the people more engaged to be like more engaged with listening to your music. So it's almost like, I feel like a lot of the really good musicians are able to like really get in there and act to the, like, get in and converse with the crowd. Like I go to a lot of shows right here at Mercury Lounge, and some of the guys that don't do so well are just up there and like they play their song, they wait, there's like silence, and it's just super uncomfortable in between those songs. And then the guys who are really good get up and like just start talking to the crowd.
But there's a lot of great bands throughout history. Some of my favorites that never interact with the crowd.
Who
ever.
are some of them?
I'll mention one of my all-time favorites, the Pixies.
Oh,
The Pixies. He doesn't ever introduce a song. He never talks. He doesn't say, our next song's called Gouge Away. It's from Doolittle. Yay! He doesn't do that.
Does he
They
fart?
just finish
What does he do?
2 minutes, next. Next. Then this monkey's gone. And there's no, it's just play. And the charisma and the presence of that band, especially when Kim Deal was, who I smoked a joint with at Mercury Lounge. No, Continental.
She's sober now, right?
I think so, yeah.
That
I
was
hope
like
so, because she was a mess. Now, Kim, I love you. No, but that was like an honor. I actually smoked a joint with Joey, the guitarist. So my goal was to smoke a joint with all the different members, but I never met David, the drummer. And
Nice. Well, excuse me. Question
goal
for you.
was to smoke a joint with. Like, what kind of goal is that? That's the.
I mean, that's a kind of cool goal. I would do that. I want to smoke a joint with every Victoria's Secret model ever, like even the dead ones.
Not me.
No,
No.
yeah, didn't get that vibe from
Abercrombie
you.
and Fitch models.
Yeah,
maybe,
maybe.
This
I
is
like
an
all-
alternative sexual show. with
But
me on it.
Abercrombie changed, right?
Yeah,
like,
they can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
right?
like
Yeah.
it used to be like, if you're fat, don't wear our clothes. And now it's like, everyone's welcome.
No. It's still if you're fat, don't wear clothes. But here's someone fat for you fat people.
Yeah,
That's what it
yeah.
like. And there's a model.
Same with
in the-
Victoria's Secret too, right? They have some plus size models on the runway. I
Well,
think
they
like
stopped.
they just stopped because it was doing so well. It's such a good translation of sales.
So what? Let's just break this up.
I think you're being sarcastic,
It's
right?
plus size. You said the F word. We can no longer say fat, right?
I can say fat. I'm a fat person.
Okay. Well, I can. I'm a comedian, and I can. Plus size people.
I guess that's what it is.
People who put on a little extra. Like, why are we so sensitive all of a sudden?
Yeah, I know.
What the hell is? What is wrong with the word fat? It's not like you're fat. It's just.
It's
fat.
in
You're fat,
everything,
You're
you know?
thin. You're like what is?
It's in
what
every
is-
genre.
What has happened to us?
We're just become so woke. It's just so annoying. At least for
Woke is-
I don't know how you. I mean,
I'm not woke. I'm anti-woke. I don't believe in any of this shit because to me, woke is a judgment, and you're judging people.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
going to judge you based on whether. What does woke mean?
It means you have a higher morality.
You could march for equal rights. You could join every sort of shit, and you can litter. Are you woke? You could cheat on your girlfriend. Are you woke?
No.
If you lie, you cheat, or you steal any of those, you're not woke. So what the fuck is woke?
It's all about moral superiority.
It's about judgment. It's about
right.
people that need to put themselves
That's
here
right.
and say, I'm
Setting a
woke,
frame of
you're not."
superiority, yeah.
You know, I used to have this saying years ago, which is, if you think you're cool, I used to have a t-shirt, if you think you're cool, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Because what is cool? Cool is just, to me, it's being yourself and not worrying what anybody thinks. Cool isn't the brand, you know, it's how many followers you have. What is
Right.
cool? Like you guys, I think are cool. I always liked you. I've gotten to really know you lately, and like I first podcast in 5 years.
Hell
And I'm
yeah.
not putting myself up here. I don't know. I just don't do them, you know. And I like you very much, and bringing me on is really nice. Thank
You're the
you.
man,
Thank you.
dude.
Yeah,
We
no, I
love
mean
you.
it. Thank you.
Can-
No,
I want
stop.
that
Stop.
thing.
Let's go. Come on.
Wait,
we're
one
trying.
more
We have
fist
40
bump.
minutes left.
Nah, we could do it. We'll ride it out. If someone comes in, we'll be like,
We're woke.
yeah,
We're woke.
stop it. This
We're
is
woke.
an aggression.
Christos though, Christos is always like my meter of like, nope, Judd, you can't say that, nope, because I'm from like that generation. I'm from like your generation where, you know, we just kind of said whatever we thought was funny. because
We said
it
it
was
even
all
if
funny.
it was mean.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
We didn't-
mean is
We
funny.
didn't pull punches. We didn't, because you could call someone whatever the hell you want to call them, and they can't go to social media. They can't do anything except come to your house and call you something back the next day.
But
Like, what
we'd
would
be
you
mean
do?
to our friends because it was like a term of endearment.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean to all my friends too. Like, don't get me wrong.
You guys have friends?
Yeah, I have
Jesus
friends.
We pay
Christ,
them.
I knew there was
Yeah.
something between. What would they? Those used to be fun. Friends.
Friends?
Yeah.
Wow, come on. We're your friends.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
I'm up to 4.
Who
But
are
I
the
have like
other two?
8,000 followers on
there you go.
Curveball. Thank you.
What do
There
you
you
do
go.
when you're not playing guitar and doing comedy?
Jerking off.
Besides that,
No,
obviously.
I can't. I'm too old.
Playing sports, surfing,
no,
snowboarding.
hot yoga. That's a big one.
Okay, cool.
Hot yoga?
It's what are we?
Hot yoga?
Hot yoga.
Hot yoga?
Hot yoga. I can't do regular yoga
I
anymore
can't do
since I
yoga.
started doing hot
I can't
yoga.
do yoga because literally I go in there and then like all the women are like bent over and then like their asses are right in front of me and so I can't. And then they look back at me like, what are you looking at? I'm like, dude, your ass is right in front of me. Like, how am I not supposed? And then it's like I just feel like a pervert every time I go.
And
so
it's
I don't
funny,
go.
and I get hot chicks all around me, and their asses are right in front of me, and I'm like, why can't I get a dude? There's all fucking women in here, all
You
the
know
fucking
what's-
time. I smell the pussy from across the front. 4 rows deep of sweaty pussy, I smell, and I'm like, not one cock. And there's like 28 women, 28 pussies, 56 tits, not one cock.
You know, I started yoga for a little bit, and
I
then
could
I
not
stopped.
imagine you in
No.
your swim trunks doing hot yoga.
I stopped because I wasn't sexually aroused for some reason, and I got all upset and confused. So I left. I was like, "Why am I not into this?"
Well, I will offer both of you my hot yoga place right around the corner, Fierce Grace.
Fierce
I
Grace,
love those
sure.
women. They've come to our stand-up
Okay.
shows.
Oh, no
And,
kidding.
Oh, really?
And you two are my guests if you ever want to go.
I'm
Sweet,
down.
yeah.
Ever want to go?
It's
My
like
guest,
really
I
hot,
insist.
though.
I see them walking out of there
it's-
all the time.
Just so you know, it's
very
100
intimidating.
It's 104 degrees. It's known as the hottest room in the city. And I just looked into another one. I'm Bowery just because I'm passing. I mean, I'm very loyal to Fierce Grace. Don't get me wrong. But just a new place. I was like, wonder what's. And I go online and I see it's 98. And I did 98 degrees in LA, and
That's
98
nothing.
to me
That's
is like
pussy shit.
it's like make it 108 or 40. 98's the worst because you're like not hot to sweat, but you're uncomfortable. Like 104, you will pour
Yeah.
sweat. You'll lose 5 pounds just if you weigh yours.
Like a
I want to
sauna.
go to one of those places where they have like the hot plunge, cold plunge combination.
Stop
you know any
hitting
places
the
like that
table.
in the in New York?
hot baths in Budapest.
In the
Budapest, Hungary?
Budapest, like
yeah,
in Europe.
Hungary. No, there's not Budapest.
No, I'm talking about
Queens.
here.
No, I had a band
No.
called
We need
Budapest.
we need somewhere here, or we should open a place.
Well, there is a place I've never been to. It's in the East Village, the Russian Baths. Have
yeah,
you been?
yeah, no. But that's
I-
like from the 1800s. That's like old school. I mean, I'm talking about like. Well, I don't know. I heard that somebody actually
A
told
lot
me
of
today.
the baths will have, ice baths and hot baths.
Oh,
and
really?
Where you can go.
I didn't
I don't
realize
know if
that.
that does. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been to the place yet, but I also heard there was a place called Remedy, like by Flatiron, that was cool. But I also heard some kind of weird, some untoward stories coming out of the Turkish baths, unverified, but it was like a. Let's just say that there was just some weird shit going on. And my friend was like, "Yeah, I'm not going there anymore."
Do you know David Barden's gym?
I
You
used to go to
remember
David
yeah.
Barton Gym, of course.
I
love
used to
David
go
Barton.
to David Barton. So I was the
Wait,
best.
did you go to the one on Astor?
Yeah, in Astor.
When? How
Yeah.
many years ago?
2016 to 2018.
I think I stopped around 16
Oh,
or
okay.
whatever. Yeah. Didn't it become something else? It became
Yeah, it became like a
vinyl or not vinyl.
temple. Yeah,
Temple.
and then
So
it
was-
became New York Sports Club.
Yeah, when it was David Barton,
It was the
and when it
best.
first opened, it was incredible.
Yeah.
because like
They had a
Did you ever go to
gym.
the one in
gym,
Miami?
The amount of like the size for new gym. They had a meditation room with candles, and you could have the whole room to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has one in Miami at the, or he had one at the Delano that was like
a
ridiculous.
lot of them kind of went under. I don't know. I think it's just the economics of running a
Yeah.
gym.
Well, I think
Sure.
he's like built it back up now, or
No,
something like
he's,
that.
You know,
He's probably
yeah,
retired,
he's-
that guy. That guy made a lot of
Oh,
money.
he's- yeah.
It
Dude,
seemed
he
like
made
it.
mad money. But
Yeah.
the David Barton gym, we had Anderson Cooper would go to that gym all the
Okay,
time.
so is it time for me to tell my Anderson story?
Oh yeah, everyone
Please
has
do.
one. Dude, that guy's a predator. He's a
so-
raging predator.
No, he likes men. So we're at Crunch, and back in the day, I was jacked. Like, so a funny thing is, like, Anderson would check me out every which way.
He was checking everyone out, dude.
Okay, can you give me a little love here? I'll show you my bodybuilding photos.
right.
He wasn't checking
Point it at the camera.
everybody. I'll show him to the fucking camera too. He wasn't just checking everybody out.
He
you
checked
know.
me out, dude.
Okay, but the funny thing is, remember, there's mirrors everywhere. So like,
Okay.
Anderson would be over there, and I'd be over there, and then I'd look, and you could see him staring.
staring at you?
in the mirrors, and I didn't stare at him because like. first off, I used to know his his boyfriend Benjamin. Like the gay scene very small, So I used to go out to all the parties and drug parties.
Fire Island?
No, even here in town. I mean,
Okay.
Fire Island, yeah. But
Yeah.
the Roxy and
Sure.
all the gay pride parties,
Twilo.
circuit parties. I was a Twilo regular,
Yeah.
of course. And you just get to know everybody,
Sure.
So, I mean, like, big deal.
The picture.
That's you?
I told you.
Dude, you look like a
Nice.
Marine.
Look at that.
Just zoom that shit in.
Thirst trap.
Zoom that shit in. I had no,
No body fat.
no body fat.
Jesus.
You have weird nipples, though.
Shut up. I have nice, beautiful. What dude wouldn't want that? I would fuck that.
Well, a straight dude wouldn't want that.
Yeah, you'd be amazed. Oh, wait, well, that would contradict all the straight dudes I've had
I
sex
don't know,
with.
man. You
when
got-
you say a straight dude wouldn't want that. And,
They're
it's
probably
funny
just,
because
they're probably
what
just
is
into your
straight
puffy
Straight dudes you've had
nipples.
sex
Wait,
with,
wait.
I
I
don't think
thought-
they're straight anymore.
I was just going to say, so now the statistics that come out are 30% of Gen Z or younger, 30% identify as LGBTQ. They just released a big study. I think it was still only 5% say gay, like something like 12% said bi,
Okay.
and like 12% said other, like maybe non-binary or but you have 30% identify as LGBTQ. And what's the most fascinating statistic I read is 70% of the same generation said they're open to a same-sex experience.
Just to try.
Just to try. Like 70% said they're open.
So, question for you.
So I
As-
feel sorry for the other 30% because they're going to get married and have 2 kids and get fat and be bankrupt and the house is
Well,
gonna
as a dying breed, as a straight white male, the dying breed, I will say, do you think, from your perspective, like you're someone who, at a certain point in your life, you had to hide it, right? To a certain degree.
my whole life.
Right. So-
till I was like 30.
So, what do you think of, like, now that it's kind of like trendy to sort of be? Do you not think it's
No,
trendy?
I think that depending on your upbringing, I think there's everything from your upbringing. Like if you have a military father right now that threatened to kill you when you were 4, if you were gay, that might stick with you. That might cause you not to come out. That might cause you to lie. That might cause you to get married. There's so many factors beyond socially acceptable. It's your upbringing. It's your schooling. What if the kids picked on you or beating you up in school because they thought you were gay and you're like, I'm not gay because you were so scared. And you went out and you got a girlfriend and that shit continued. So it's easy to take a step back and say, look how much the world has changed. It's so okay to come out. Everybody's different, and it isn't okay. I mean, it still isn't accepted everywhere.
Yeah.
It still isn't, we'd like to think it is. I mean, it is in downtown Manhattan, which
Right.
is just a small part of the world.
Yeah.
Right.
When I travel, it's not that I don't flash gay, I just won't, I won't travel to a place that's very homophobic. I will never go to Dubai, where if I accidentally go like this, excuse me, sir, I can go to jail. And that's happened to Americans.
Like
Just
Gaza.
touching someone.
Really?
Absolutely.
I thought in Dubai, the dudes hold
There's
hands.
a guy, he put his hand on a guy's hip, apparently, who
Yeah.
was from there, to move him aside in a bar and jail. So I will not frequent a business like that. Father said, if anyone's gay in my family, I will kill them. He was a military veteran.
Okay.
And my mother said, if anyone's gay in my family, either of my kids, I would disown them and then kill myself.
Jesus.
So as a child, why would I want, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And then you go to school and you get called faggot and you don't really understand what's going on. There's no internet. And they had a book, DSM-3, which is the psychology
Diagnostic,
hand.
something manual.
And I got a copy of that somehow and I read it
Yeah.
and it said that I was mentally ill. So now I'm 14, 15 years old. I'm addicted to marijuana, among other drugs. I will drink. I will take pills. I will do anything to get out of my body. I'm 14, 15 years old, and I'm taught that I'm mentally insane. And there is no one, not one human being, to talk to. And you wonder, how did I come out of it? My therapist said, how does anyone survive that?
Right.
Did I want to die? No, I never wanted to die. I wanted to be fixed because I was taught there's something wrong with me. So if there's something wrong with me, we can fix that. So I don't know if you've ever seen my bit on conversion therapy, because I did it. It's true. I did conversion therapy, and they sent a woman to my house to teach me how to have sex. And I opened the door. ugliest motherfucking bitch I've ever seen in my life. She was like, she's smoking a cigarette. She's like, I'm here to see Jeff. I'm like, Jeff's not here. Jeff, I don't think, well, I have and I actually took this woman inside and tried to
have sex with her?
Yeah, it was
what would have happened
whoa,
if they
whoa,
sent
whoa.
over a beautiful woman?
Whoa.
What if they sent over a Victoria's Secret
I think that
model?
the session would have been easier. But I mean, so just so you know, I'm singing in a rock band. We're signed. And let me tell you something. You can't swat the women away when you're the lead singer of a rock
my
band
God.
on the Sunset Strip.
That's like being a kid.
I was like, I had a girlfriend that knew I was gay. Well, she thought, she goes, are you gay? I think you're gay. I knew you're gay. I think you're gay. I think you're gay. And I'm like, bitch. Do I look gay? I would be like,
You're like,
and then I
bitch.
was like, how do I get rid of it? You know, so, and the thing was because no one was gay. So I had a friend who was gorgeous. Oh my God, this guy was like model boy, artist, and I wanted him so bad. And my friend said, he won't do anything with you unless there's a girl involved. So I arranged for my girlfriend and him to come over, and we started three-waying. That was fucking cool. So now I'm like, because now I can finally be with the guy I want, but my girl's there. But I got to pretend to like my girlfriend. So she goes into the bathroom, leaving the two of us alone.
Yeah.
And we start doing it. Like, we're like, and then she comes
How
up.
long was she in the bathroom?
A while. And she comes out as a loft, and she comes up the stairs, and she sees his dick in my mouth, and she's like, I knew it. Oh!
It took her it took her a dick in the mouth to be like, I knew it.
So then I'm like, yeah, wait. So, and I'm like, no, it's not what you think. So not what you think.
Just taking his temperature.
So I'm like, let me walk her out. I'll walk her out because it's over. You know, I go,
Yeah.
let me walk you to your car. She gives me a car. She gets like, I knew it. And she goes, I just want you to know you're still my boyfriend. I'm like, oh,
So she thought that the two guys were gonna fuck her. Was that her?
Oh, come on, dude.
No, here's the thing. So the guy I wanted to be with wouldn't be with me. And our mutual friend said he won't do anything. Because remember, everyone's so deeply closeted.
Right.
And
Yeah,
he's a big artist.
Yeah.
I'm at the time in the rock band, selling art. You know, we're all doing this art shit. And
Is it Banksy?
no.
But you suspected that he
paused.
was gay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, I didn't know.
You didn't care. You were
He
like, who
wasn't-
gives a shit?
You know, he didn't act it. No one let their guard down. You know,
Right.
I thought because I thought he liked me. Yeah. 'Cause, I mean, look, he wants to come over and be with me and my girlfriend. What is
Right.
that?
And he saw your puffy nipples and he was like, dude, that guy? For sure. Wait. He's so mad.
I'm going to need an attorney for this. I knew it. So before I sat down, it was like the list of questions you can't ask. Such a diva on these things.
Wait, but no offense to your girlfriend, though.
So she's clueless.
Yeah.
She's clueless.
What-
How
like,
do you not know?
like when you were just like, you know, that really handsome guy, like, we should totally tag him in. Like,
yeah, no, it was
Hey,
like, it was
you
just
know
like,
who
it
would
was
be
like,
a great guest for this podcast?
like
Your
Monty
ex-girlfriend.
oh my God, which one?
His.
Oh, yeah. Can we bring her on?
I haven't spoke to her since 1994.
That's not that long.
But I did see her. I did see her on the internet. Like she's around doing shit. Yeah, she's around doing shit. So
she into
then,
crypto?
wait, it gets better. So then she told me, because I told her I was gay. She told me that she does escort work too. So I became her pimp to profit off her. Oh my and then we
This
were
back in the
selling-
90s, right?
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah. It was
Wait, so
LA,
you turned
LA.
your girlfriend
so
into-
my girlfriend, I became my girlfriend's pimp.
Nice.
And then we were packaging her tricks with crystal meth, so you could get like both together. I
Nice.
was a very innovative business person.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So pimp is. I just made a list of everything I've ever made money at. Like obviously
Comedy,
some things.
rock,
Yeah. There are 20,
pimping.
22 things.
Okay,
And
what are
pimping
the,
was
can you
pimping.
list all 22
I
things?
don't have no list with me. Cooking, pimping, selling drugs, comedy, rock and roll, personal trainer, nutrition advisor, art dealer. I worked for Greenpeace.
What's Greenpeace?
Greenpeace?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God, he's so not woke. Did he just ask what Greenpeace is? Have you heard of Amnesty International?
Oh, no. I thought you were talking about like frozen green peas.
No,
dude.
Greenpeace. Like, you know what Greenpeace is, right? No. Okay, well, have you heard of Amnesty International?
No.
Oh, wow. Oh my, Judson, do you realize how could you even discuss the word woke with me?
Dude, I'm a child of immigrants. That's my whole personal.
You know
What
the
is your
Sea Shepherds?
heritage?
Well, I'm Greek and Albanian.
Oh, wait, Greek. We had that. Yeah, if you remember that. Greek and the Albanian. I'm sorry. Are you okay?
And you were a
I'm fine.
practitioner. You were alluding to the fact that you were a practitioner, or not necessarily a practitioner of Eastern medicine, but a recipient of that medicine. That you're a big a proponent. Am I correct?
Yeah. I mean, I
That was a
telling
hell of a
Chris- Well,
transition.
here's the thing. When you've been through everything I've been through, which is I had a very bad accident in the 90s and my knee reconstructed.
What happened? A car accident?
I fell through a trapdoor bartending on the Upper West Side, and I was left on my own to bleed to death. But fortunately, I had a friend with me. By the time they got me to the hospital, I was
Jesus.
semi-conscious. Yeah,
Wow.
lucky to be alive. Honestly,
Wow.
I had 2 surgeries from that. What was your question?
So now my question was, you had alluded to the fact that you were
the
an
alternative.
advocate
Yeah.
for alternative medicine.
Yeah, so here's how I look at Western medicine. Western medicine is predicated on keeping you sick. The moment you're well, doctors lose their jobs. There's no work. What are you going to do? Like do cancer x-rays? Like the Western medicine is predicated on keeping you on these pills. Both my parents died from pills. My mother from liver cirrhosis. She was on like 15 medications. My father was on like 50 medications. I kept wanting them to throw it in the garbage. Couldn't get them, And when you travel the world, as I've been fortunate to do, and you go to places like India and you study Ayurvedic, or live or treat yourself with Ayurvedic medicine, or you go down to Peru and you work with plant medicines and plant medicine retreats. You're open to a world, and also Asian. I've always done a lot of acupuncture. You're open to a world that's just like and Western medicine has failed me tremendously in so many regards. And
That's
it's
too bad.
never-
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like plantar fasciitis. I had severe.
Yeah.
Like days where I couldn't walk. And I wound up seeing, I kept track at some point between the healers and the doctors, over 30 doctors and practitioners in
Yeah.
3 different countries over a 10-year period. And all 30 said the same thing. There's nothing we could do. It's autoimmune. You're going to have this the rest of your life. And it was when I read Dr. Sarno's books, which I was already familiar with, Healing Back Pain, if you're not at all TMS, Dr. Sarno, everything went away. I cured it. So I had 30 doctors, experts. I went to the best podiatrists in the city, the best money can buy, hospital for special surgery.
So go back to your plantar fasciitis. So the plantar fasciitis, how
Yeah.
did they finally heal your plantar fasciitis?
I healed it myself. Nobody healed it.
Okay.
I healed it myself. So when you follow Dr. Sarno's path of healing, Healing Back Pain is the name of the book. It's that all this comes from emotional pain. So it's interesting. I'll give you an example, like Chris Stefano, right? You know Chris, right?
Sure,
So
of course.
he was
Love
a
him.
physical therapist before.
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
used to ask me about my feet. I would talk to him all the time. And one day I remember talking to him outside the stand, and he's like, how's your foot? And I'm like, it's in my right foot now. It moved from my left foot to my right foot. He goes, well, that has to be plantar fasciitis, or like, because that can't, it's not an injury. That's why that's so complicated. You know what I mean? Like NBA
Yeah.
players are out for like months.
Right,
Some-
it's that band at the bottom of your
it's
foot,
that
right?
exactly.
stuff.
Yeah, and different doctors have different diagnoses. I was told it's tarsal tunnel. I was told it's Achilles tendonitis. It's just arthritis. It's plantar fasciitis. I had shock therapy. I had injections.
Did you get PRP? I do
What is
PRP
PRP?
on it. PRP is platelet-rich plasma. So what I'll do is I'll take blood out of your arm.
Understood.
I'll
I
put
know
it into
that.
a centrifuge. I'll spin it, and then I'll separate the red cells from the plasma, and there's a little layer in there, and that layer I extract. That layer is responsible for healing. We don't know exactly which it is, whether it's like interleukin 33 or cytokine P 23 or whatever it is, but we know in that layer are the components of your blood that's responsible for healing. So we extract that out, and then I will literally take that, put it into a syringe, put it with some numbing medication, and put it where you need it. Now, of course, and get this, insurance companies don't cover it.
Of course not. This originated in Germany, right?
So let me tell you, just kind of like give you a little bit of contrast. So I agree, I'm very frustrated with the healthcare system, but it's not the healthcare system that we have a problem with, it's the insurance system. So what I just gave you is an example of we have ways to treat people, but insurance won't cover it. Insurance want us to do these, silly other things, and they'll only pay for those particular
Understood.
things.
Yeah.
So it's very, it's frustrating for us as well as practitioners. Now, you're right. We don't, as allopathic physicians, we don't concentrate as much on preventative care. I'm an emergency physician, so listen, it's no matter what, people just come in and they're going to get hit, they're going to get in accidents, they're going to have issues, they're going to have this, that, and the other thing. Now I'm just doing pain management and non-surgical orthopedics. So for me, it's like a very I'm totally amenable to using all of the different, modalities. In my clinics, we actually do incorporate everything. So we have acupuncture, we have physical therapy, we have even chiropractic therapy. And then I do the injection therapy. So we try to incorporate everything. And I as well am a proponent of plant medicine as well. I mean, I definitely have my own, anecdotal stories. So I'm not. I'm open to all of these different modalities. I'm not super like allopathic medicine or nothing.
Our human nature is to want to help. Our human nature is to want to help. Like, I got a record I need help promoting. What do you want to do? I want to help you, Jeff.
Yeah,
All is in
of
line.
course.
I want to help you be a comedian and you be a comedian. That's our nature. And, if we, as a society, we talk about our problems, it's okay to have faults, okay to be bald. All the years I spent worried about losing my hair, for what?
Right.
For what?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I also like New York City because I think that New York City is just like a conglomeration of people that do want to help each other. They want to grow together. They want to create together. And when you get further and further away from New York City, I feel like you lose that. I spent a lot of time down to like Miami and stuff like that. And I felt like I was really losing that creative camaraderie that exists here. And that's why I came back like 3 years ago.
It's funny how we all have such vastly different perspectives on New York
Of Miami?
City. No, to me, New York is a place where it's so everyone out for themselves, and understandably so, because it's so expensive. And people don't come here to open a cafe part-time. They go to Mexico to open a cafe part-time.
Right.
People come here to conquer. People come here to be wealthy, to be stars, to be the best at whatever they want to do. That's why you come here.
Yeah.
And it's become so expensive and so cost prohibitive and so competitive. Like, nobody holds a door anymore. And maybe that's a generational thing. But and when I'm a door holder. I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
I hold the door for people when they're like 15.
You weren't raised in a barn.
I was raised with good manners. My mother
But if they don't say thank you, you get
no
pissed.
one says thank you.
Yeah, I get pissed.
They don't say thank you.
It's so strange. We were just walking down the hall here, and literally, there's a brand new neighbor who moved in next door to me. I'm walking towards the elevator, and she just walks right by, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" She's like, doesn't even say anything.
Yeah, no.
It was so bizarre. I was like, "Did you just see that?"
That's when I start growling.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm more uncomfortable for her.
Yeah.
That she's not saying something. That's just so odd to me.
Everyone's so, the last guy I dated, we never spoke once. It was a joke. Okay, maybe it didn't land, but it was supposed to be like, we slept in the same bed for years. We never spoke.
You never spoke while you're going to bed?
It was a joke. It's.
I understand it was a joke, but
right,
there's some roots of truth there. Let's dig into that.
Okay, my last boyfriend was deaf, and he's going to watch this, and someone's going to translate, and I'm going to get in trouble. So let's. The audience actually laughed at. You know what's funny? I used to make fun of I make fun of everyone. Make fun of my deaf boyfriend, and now I'm deaf. So I would just like to say, whatever you do, don't talk about killing anyone. Whatever you put out there is coming back. Really.
Well, it's
hard.
kind of romantic though. You dating a deaf boyfriend, because then it's like if a train is coming, you both die together. Like if it's behind you.
Is this a Smith song that I walked into? If a double-decker bus crashes into us, to die by your side, or the pleasure, the privilege is mine.
People
Is that Morrissey? Was Morrissey the lead singer for Smith?
Yeah. What questions are they asking me? If it's Morrissey, the lead singer, yeah. Do you think Paul McCartney was in the Beatles?
Well, was he?
What the fuck has happened to this?
The guy from
podcast?
Wings was in the Beatles?
No,
Are you
the
kidding me?
father of Stella McCarthy from Chloe.
There's a light that never goes out.
Wait, the dude from Wings was in the Beatles?
Oh my God.
That's
The guy from
crazy.
the Wings died. The other, the co-founder, it's Paul McCartney. The guy from the Wings just passed away.
Oh, nice. That's sad.
Wasn't as big as Paul.
Yeah, well.
So what's next in comedy? What's going on with Laughing Buddha? I see that you guys are doing.
Yeah, well,
dude, you guys are doing it
They're
seems like you're
taking over,
you're
dude.
taking over the whole city.
No, we're
Nah,
not.
you are,
no,
though.
stop. We used
Tell
to.
us, you
Okay,
mastermind.
first off, time out. We used to run about 30, 35 mics a week for the pandemic, but we had our own rooms. It was all kind of mostly, in there, and things were really. It's a lot. It was a lot. It was a bit of a relief when the pandemic hit. We're like, shut this baby down for a bit. And we're growing back slowly, with the right. But, it's like we're trying different venues now. So it might seem like, oh, we're here. But like, we're trying things. It's not all working out because not every venue's right for us. We're not right for them, whatever. But it is growing. I mean, the staff's been incredible, Darren and Max and everyone behind the scenes. I have the best team I've ever had in terms of, so for me, from my time and my energy, I could focus on some other projects and things for the first time.
Yeah. You guys have incredible venues too. I mean,
right, thank you.
Yeah, what are all the venues?
And the new
that you
Grisley
have?
Pear's got a great mic.
Grisley Pear's a great,
that sound system there is amazing.
Yeah.
Like you're up there, you're like, wow, this is like very commanding. I love that.
Yeah.
that
Okay,
stage.
wait. So what do you have? You have Eastville. What else?
Eastville and Brooklyn, and of course, Eastville and the Stand are our long-term relationships, as is the Triad. We've been running shows with those people for like 10 to 12 years.
Strong work with
The
that one.
Triad's owned by a friend of mine, Peter Martin.
Oh, nice.
Michael Doan up there. They're great. And that used to be a comedy venue. A lot of people don't know. They've done a million things up there. But so Triad, Eastville, and Stand are our oldest, relationships. And recently, we just started running mics at the Pear, and that was like we needed like a kind of regular room for 5 or 6 o'clock, and they had it available.
Nice.
So that's been going well. And we just do some shows up there too. It's a great location. Some things you do things in Brooklyn, like Eastville, and that's great for some, but it's really removed if you're on Long Island or you're in other places. And so going into that Midtown location is
because it's kind of near Penn Station and Grand Central.
Yeah, that's really good. So I'd say things are okay. I mean, for me, I'm not as active with the with Laughing Buddha as much. I mean, I'm on top of everything. I'm at the show last night. I do my spots. But, I used to go out as a comedian and do like 10, 15 spots a week, and now I do like 1 or 2 because that's what I want to do.
Right.
I really believe you should do it. For a long time, I did spots like every night because I thought, I'm supposed to do this. God wants me to be a comic. This is my blood. And then I'm like, no, I really want to go back to writing some songs and singing and cooking. Like, I'm older than you guys, right? And when you get, I just turned 60.
Yeah.
And,
congrats.
Thank you. No, but
Wow, man, you look young.
Thank you.
you
I've been.
do look
They all like tell me I haven't
yeah.
aged in 5 years, which is funny because I've done more drugs in the last 5 years.
I thought you were going to say you just turned 50.
No, I
yeah,
turned 60. Yeah, and crack and wheatgrass. I
Dude,
told you
that's
that.
the best.
Crack and wheatgrass. Crack is just you smoke and like your blood and the toxins that come out,
Right.
and then you sleep. Because you're up for 2 days, then you sleep for 2 days, and you cleanse with wheatgrass, and you'll stay young forever. So
For the moms at home.
And as far as comedy, like I was privileged to play Lincoln Center a few months back. That was awesome.
Music
Laughter
or
in the
comedy?
Park. No, comedy. I was
Wow.
saying that's comedy.
Wow.
Yeah, that was an awesome gig. One of my best sets in your crowd. So Laughter in the Park is a clean show they do every year, and I've done that in the past in Central Park, Washington Square Park, and you have to be family clean. Family cleans, no drugs, no,
Wow.
And I love the booker. She's no friend of mine, and she's always afraid. Like when I get up there, she's like watching me because she thinks I'm just gonna go, yes, and little kids, fuck, and I never do. And it's funny. She's always, and so she books me, and she goes, it's not it's uncensored. I'm like, really? Like city funding? She goes, you could say whatever you want.
Nice.
And I was like, I'll still keep it clean. There's like politicians and it's packed, and everyone's clean before me. And I just got up there, and it's like instincts. As the more you do stand up, you just have these instincts. And I got up there, and I was like, they gave me a huge ovation, and the host was great. And Joe Firestone, she warmed them. She's incredible. And all the people were great. And I get up there, I was like, what's up, motherfuckers? And the whole place just erupted, like 3 seconds to go. And I went into my hearing aids joke. I don't call them hearing aids because you don't want to put AIDS in your body when you're gay. And then they all went, woo, and I'm like, clap for it. It was just, they're amazing.
How many people was it?
I guess about 500.
That's
Jesus.
sick.
Yeah,
That's
something
awesome.
like that.
Damn, good for you.
Something like that. I mean, I didn't count. There's a lot of people. Yeah, I've done my biggest show is Mayo Performing Arts Center.
Where's that?
That's in Jersey.
Okay.
That's a 1,400 seat venue.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
So I did that. There was a Manhattan Comedy Night they do. I did that with some years ago with Joe List, and
Joe List.
yeah.
It's,
Joe List.
he's kind of getting popular.
Oh,
now,
he's gonna
too.
be
Yeah.
huge. Yeah. And the funny thing is, I remember it's a theater show. So one thing I learned about the difference between comedy club and theater Right. In this show, like I drew the next to last spot. It was like an equal billing show with like 5 comics or whatever. So I drew the next to last spot, and I was like, it's a little late, but I'm the gay guy in the show. And the booker told me we've never picked the gay man in this theater. So I'm like, all right, I'm a novelty. I'll
It's
take
a theater,
it.
and there's never been a gay
Never been a gay man
Come
in
on.
this. Well, in his comedy show in the theater. I mean, rock bands have played there. They're all gay. So I'm like, they put me. I'm not the opener. I know that. But so Joe List is opening, and he's like, I don't want to open. I go, no, Joe, opening's great. He's like, why? I'm like, in theaters. And then Joe, I'm sure, has played a lot more theaters than me by now. But like in theaters, people come a half hour early, and the bar is open before. There's no service during the show. So there's early intermission, and that's it. That's when they sell drinks. So these people come early, and they're drinking. So it's a half hour from when they're drinking till the show starts.
Okay.
Right? So the host comes out and kills, and he does 20. So by the time the first act comes up, which just happened to be Joe, they've been there for almost an hour. The perfect time.
So
to
they're
go
nice
up.
and warmed up, you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And then by the time I go up, they've been there 3 hours, and
They're tired.
They're tired a little. It was great, but yeah, listen. All I can say is this: everything I ever got is through a lot of stuff through Laughing Buddha and the stand and the different clubs you've done. But Mark Maron said this: if you work really, really hard, good things will happen. Something will happen. It's not what you thought will happen.
Right.
I never thought Laughing
amen.
Buddha was never a plan. It was never a plan. It was just like anyone else. I had a show, I had a mic, and it just blew up. So it's but if you work hard, good things will happen. And I believe that. I believe that like I didn't just get these gigs. I've earned these gigs over 17 years of going out every single night in New York City. Yeah. All I do is go around and get people ratings, right?
That's right.
That's what I did. I go get people ratings.
What am I, a fucking clown?
I'm
Jesus
a
Christ, what's the matter with these
Put
fucking
me in a
people?
movie with the fucking mob like Joe Pesci. I'll be the gay Jewish guy. I'm perfect for that.
What would the gay Jewish guy's name be?
Lipschitz. It's a real non-scary, Goldberg or something. What's a scary?
But he's got a nickname.
There's no scary Jewish name, right? It's like Goldberg, Levine, Cohn.
But
right?
he needs a nickname, though.
You need something scary.
What was the guy from
like,
Inglourious Bastards? He had a sketchy
He was the
name.
Bear Jew.
Yes, he had a cool name.
You could be the gay Bear Jew.
The bald bear.
Okay, so when did this become a roast? It went from a podcast to a roast in like the last 37 seconds, and nobody filmed me. This just became, let's take Jeff, we'll get him in, we'll tell him it's a podcast, and then we'll beat the little faggot under the fucking table until submission, This is my Hebrew name, Yaakov.
So Yaakov is
Yaakov.
throwing a comedy festival this April.
And my people they do everything. I can't take any credit anymore. Everyone thinks, because when Laughing Buddha was small, it was me, and they'd be like, Jeff is it, and it's not. There's a whole wonderful company.
A whole team. Who are your MVPs in your team?
MVP Darren Passarello. We all know
Okay.
Darren Stephanie. If I don't mention her, I'm going to get shit anyway. So thank you so much, Judson, because
So
my
you got
whole,
an awesome
my whole
crew.
life I try and get away from women, and then my best friend, who's a guy, becomes a woman. Now I'm stuck with her. I'm like, I have to fucking have you in my life no matter what. It's true. I get away from the chicks that fucking make my mother made me crazy.
So your knife caddy is going to be helping you out on this.
Yeah, Max. Max is great. You know
Okay.
Max? Max Lowe?
Yeah,
He's-
Max.
Yeah, Max is like typical, young guy, comes into comedy, finds his home in Laughing Buddha, starts hosting, wants to get more involved. I love that when people come to me and say, we'd like to get more involved with Laughing Buddha, which is like, we believe in what you're doing.
Cool.
And that's really cool because they're not asking for money. They want spots. They want stage time, and they get it.
Good.
Max goes on stage almost. Darren and Max, they could go on stage every single night if they want. If they take a night off or go elsewhere, that's on them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Laughing Buddha Network, you can go on stage every single night. And good crowds, So.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. So they're great. And then we have, I don't want to miss anyone, Hannah Mannion was our, so we have an internship program, which I'd
right.
love to take a quick second.
Yeah,
and
tell
that
us.
is at our old office, we had like 4 desks so that people don't know the backbones of what we do. And each desk had a Mac, a brand new Mac. And we had a coffee and craft food station for everyone. And we had college interns that, do it for credit, and some just want to volunteer. And we have a whole internship program of 3-4 people. They come in every day. We teach them graphic design. fine, or they have that skill. You know, or we teach them marketing, we teach them admin, and so know how. And then we like to employ those people. So our last administrator before the pandemic was an intern. She was a young Latina woman, and her dream was to work in comedy or in show business, and no one ever gave her a chance. And I hired her as an intern. She was great. Hired her. She became full-time.
Hell yeah.
So Hannah's now working in social media and graphics. And we have Jing and Paige, two fantastic interns. Paige is going to be helping me with my record. Jing's doing the video for The Fence. So Laughing Buddha is moving. Very important. We are moving into Laughing Buddha Entertainment and Laughing Buddha Media. So we're not just going to be stand-up. We're going to move the music that I'm doing and possibly other artists under the Laughing Buddha umbrella.
Hell yeah. And you're going to do sketches too, right?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, we're open. Like stand up. It's limited. You get up, and you're in the clubs, and that's it.
Right.
And we've done it, and we're good at it. But we want to expand. We're getting into content. We want to do some content.
Yeah.
Just funny stuff that relates to cooking and comedy. That's a big thing. We're getting
Skits.
into that. Sketch, we've done this before. Like we've tried teaching improv, and it's not like that's not our thing.
Okay.
Because if you're going to teach improv, you need all the levels, and then we're competing with UCB and the Pit, and it's just not our thing.
But as far as the stand-up comedy stuff's going, you've got something big coming up, right?
Yeah, we got our second festival.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Okay, so last year was our first festival, and we wanted to start a little small. We gave out $1,000 to the winner, which was my favorite, which was great, and we had great crowds. We had a lot of industry come down, and but because it was our first time, I wanted to make sure tweaks or fix that. So, and with our staff, we're able to make it bigger this year. So, going to be right now we have 13 shows scheduled. We might add more, and we're going to be using a combination of the clubs that we currently use. We're at the Grisley Pear Midtown and St. Mark's Comedy Club, and there's Eastville and the Stand and Triad, and we're going to use some combination of those clubs. And this year we've decided to up the prize to $2,000. $2,000 and a year's worth of spots. Some of them paid.
Wait, sorry, a year's worth of spots at all of those clubs?
So the year it'll be monthly spots at Laughing Buddha, but on top of that, you will have additional spots.
Oh, hell yeah.
And also, like, that's a minimum. Like, if someone wins a festival and they're great and we love them, we'll be using them more than once a month, but a minimum one a month, and then the other clubs will book as well. Plus, everyone knows who we are and what we do, so there's good exposure to other people. I mean, there's certain managers I work with, and they can't wait to see this year's crop. They were in last year too. Okay, so a lot of times, like I've gotten calls from Comedy Central in the past, networks, people, they will come in and they will tell us, or they want to be taken care of, or make sure they get tickets for whatever reason. Sure. But a lot of times they come in unannounced. They don't want the people to know. They want to come to a mic room where they can see 22 comics in 1 hour or hour, without anyone knowing and watching, and see if there's someone they like, especially the casting people. See, the casting people don't need you to be an accomplished, to be, give an example.
They want the personality.
Yeah, there's a casting person. Ever hear of the movies Hedwig and the Angry Inch? No. Short Bus. Okay, your homework is to watch Hedwig and the Angry Inch. You're gonna.
I was on the short bus.
Shut up, Hedwig and the Angry Inch. So one of the casting people on that, Erica Palgon, casting director, said to me one day after a show, she goes, "Is there any way you could put together a showcase for me of people that are doing their very first stand-up show?" And I said, I guess I could, but why? She goes, "I want to see them before anyone gets them." So I mean. Yeah, here's the thing, here's my advice to everyone. Everyone, when they're new in the first year, 2 or 3, wants to get seen. And think it's naive that someone's going to come in, see your greatness, manage you, and everything's going to change. And there's something I'm having a conversation with you, with anyone trying to help. Just remember, it takes 10 years to be a comedian. It's certainly, some people say 7. I thought at 7 I got it. I was already headlining gigs. 7 years, I'm a comedian. I don't need 10. And at 10 years, I look back at 7 and went like, wow. For me, it was 10. And when I say a comedian, well, it's a comedian. If you go out every night, you're a comedian. It means you're getting paid. You can make a living at this, but also you have a confidence. To me, being a comedian was a confidence level of I don't care about what they think. Literally, like I could have a bad set, and when you're new, you have a bad set. You shit with your step. Yeah. Oh my God, what? And it's like it's a bad set. They said George Carlin always said there are bad crowds. If I go out and do the same set 10 sets in a row, and one set I bomb, I'm not changing anything for those people. Why would I? The 9 other sets work great. And George Carlin, people like, there's no such thing as a bad crowd. Yes, there is. George Carlin said there was. Of course there is. We all know there's bad crowds. That's not an excuse. Like, even if I have a shit set with a bad crowd, I don't go, oh, it's them. I'm like, gee, what could I have done different? How could I have been better? My goal is to make them laugh. You know what I'm saying? So where were we again? Because my mind just...
Well, actually, I have a question on that
industry in the room.
topic.
Yeah.
So when it's like a bad crowd, right, and you're feeling it, do you readjust and do like things that you think might work for them, or do you stick with the original?
Well, I mean, generally when I get up and it's a bad crowd, the first thing I do is I will get on stage, and I'm known for this. I call them right out. So I'll get up. I'm the 4th comic up, and I go, thank you. And they're like this. And I go, so what's going on? The other comics so and up, they said, you suck. And before I start, I don't have fucking time to waste. Why are you people suck tonight? And that'll usually get an applause break. Yeah. I go, they said you suck. They told me you suck. You suck? How do you suck? And everyone that knows me knows I'd much rather cold crowds than hot crowds. I hate going up in hot crowds. Everyone's killing. They're incredible. I don't like that. I like the challenge.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in a hot crowd, all I could do is bomb. All I could do is not kill when everyone's killed.
You started here.
And when it's a bad room, what a challenge. It's an awesome challenge to turn that room around.
Right.
And I relish it, and I'm very good at that.
Oh,
that's
cool.
a strength to not go up there and go, oh, because the new comics come out, and you don't have the skills. You don't. So there's a thing about when I say 10 years, something to understand. I can go on stage tomorrow, and Chris Tos, you probably had a better set than me at the Stand Saturday. I had a good set, but it wasn't great. I don't know. I didn't see it, but I'm just saying, anyone who's new or doing this can kill any given night. You get a better set than Louis C.K., than Wanda Sykes, and any of the big, But it's doing this night in, night out. Mm-hmm. And one thing people do, especially, I tell people in our network in New York, you got to get out of the city. Because the crowds here are of one like ilk, although they might be different from Brooklyn, Times Square. But you go up to Connecticut, everything fucking changes. You go to the Jersey Shore, and you go to Florida, everything changes. And you gotta learn to transcend, your material needs to transcend geographic, educational,
That's a good point.
everything. And you gotta have a set that makes everybody laugh.
So do you have material for all these different areas? Or do you specifically write before you go down?
No, I'm saying that you should have material that works.
It's like adaptable.
Like your core set that you make it to TV with whatever should work everywhere with everyone. It shouldn't be like, oh, I'm in a black room. I'm in a Jewish set. I can't do that.
Gotcha.
No, there will be levels. Like I have Hitler material that, I was hired for a big synagogue. Huh? No, I was hired for a synagogue gig before the pandemic. I'm not gonna go in with Nazi Hitler. I mean, depending on the level, maybe but my heavy hitting shit. That's for like a midnight crowd. I'm not doing that. I'm getting paid. I'm not there to piss people. As a comedian, my goal is to make them laugh and fill them with love, not to piss them off and shock them.
Yeah.
Although I do sometimes. I piss them off and shock them, but it's not the intent.
I do a lot of white supremacist crowds, and I gotta adjust for them.
Well, you look like a white supremacist kind of guy. I mean, your shirt says goth and your hat.
You don't know this reference?
Yeah, you look like someone that sells fentanyl on the side.
I don't sell it. I just give it.
That's even worse.
Nah.
I mean, you look shady.
Do I look shady?
Yeah, I wouldn't trust you in a weed deal. Just all that bling. Look at that Look at all the fucking bling for a white guy. What the fuck is this?
My wife is a jewelry
Jesus
designer.
Christ. I thought she was a takoyaki maker or whatever.
Takoyaki.
Takoyaki. Don't pull that racist shit on me. Make fun of me not pronouncing a Japanese dish I eat all the time.
You said I thought she was a takoyaki maker.
I don't know. The taki. How do you pronounce it? Takoyaki?
Takoyaki. Taco? Like a taco.
Oh, it's takoyaki. It really is.
Takoyaki.
Oh. Very important if anyone is listening, anyone is watching. About a third of all submissions last year were thrown out. A third.
Okay.
Why? Bad audio. As soon as you send us a tape, we can't understand. We're not struggling to understand it. We're throwing it in the fucking garbage.
Right.
Okay? So your job is to create a tape. It does not. This is a huge mistake. Huge mistake. Everyone thinks their tape has to be made at Gotham or Broadway or the Stand. It has to be a major club. No, it does not. A brick wall, a wall like this in a mic room. Do you understand that people that book rooms that have been around stand-up for a long time, I don't need to see you killing a bringer. So you don't think I see you killing, but you're holding the mic over here and you're killing. You think you're surprising me? You're fooling me? I know I know. You're doing comedy 3 months. You don't even know how to hold the fucking microphone. Okay? So when you're holding the microphone here, we're not putting you in the festival. When you don't move the mic stand, we're not putting you in the festival.
Yeah.
There's about a third of all submissions were tapes. As soon as you take the stage and pull the mic out and you don't move the stand, you're done. 4 seconds, your tape is deleted. Why? Because you have no idea what you're doing, and we're not going to watch 5 minutes. There's no reason to watch it. You're out.
Sure.
That's it. Next up, so one guy came in last night, I'll never forget this tape, and he gets up, he's at Gotham, and the guy's got a foot on the table. He's an older dude, and he takes a stage, and he goes, get your fucking foot off the table before he starts. And as soon Darren and I looked at that like, he's in.
What are some more things that aggravate you about this?
About what?
Just about this whole process, about selecting
Podcast or the festival?
No, not just the podcast. We can talk about the podcast later, but the festival. What are some annoying things that happen in the selection process?
It's a great question. He asks good questions.
He does.
One thing I found annoying is we sent out a rejection letter, sort of thank you. We did review your tape. Unfortunately, it didn't, make it. And we offered, I didn't want to just take everyone's money. So we offered a complimentary open mic. If you didn't get in, you could redeem for a mic.
Makes sense.
And it was, whatever.
That's sweet.
One of the things is people emailing back why I wasn't chosen. And I said, so I'm like dictating and, to my assistant, I'm like, tell them they suck. Just tell them the truth. They suck. Why wasn't I chosen? Because you fucking suck.
Well, they're looking for feedback, right?
Do you watch your own tape? And there were, I think, a few people, if they asked for feedback, we would offer it. We're not going to just get feedback.
Right.
But it's, if I think someone did, could I get some feedback on why I wasn't selected? It was like, one of them I remember one, I said, you know what? You're really good. I don't want to critique you or criticize. It's just there's room for 50.
Yeah.
There's so many more than that submissions. Not everyone's going to get in. One person said, can I get some feedback? And I was like, yeah, your audio is unlegible. Your audio has to be legible. The video has to not be shaky. That's it. No one cares if it's Gotham or Broadway or the Stand. Nobody. So use your open mics to make a good tape. Because for someone, I used to book a lot of rooms, right? When I watch your tape, I can tell you in the first 30 seconds how long you're doing this and where your joke writing's at. It comes from repetition and experience. And right off the bat, if you open up and you're like, so, how's it going? I feel great. It's so good to be here. One more time for the host. I'm done.
Right.
I'm done.
I never thank the host. I never do.
Look, there's no rules. Let's say the host is struggling. Let's say I'm the sixth comic and the host is struggling. Give it up for Judson. Come on. He's working his ass off tonight, people. Come on. But that's generally the first comic should give it up for the host. Do you know why? The first one?
Because they went up after.
That's right. There's no one who's giving it up for the host. But once that first person says, please give it up. Because let's say, Judson, you've gone up, you've warmed up the crowd 10 minutes, and I'm the first comic. Thank you. Let's hear it for Judson, because I'm the only person that's going to do it. But don't do it later on. And I always say this. How do you think the audience feels when they've been sitting there for 2 hours and you're like, one more time for the host?
Right.
No.
They want to hang themselves.
Don't ask the audience for anything. Give them energy. Give them less. We need more. No. That's a mistake to me. And I tell anybody that hosts for us, I will personally coach and tell them what I like. And, and I always say this too. I don't like to tell people what to do, but when I'm paying, you will do exactly what I do.
Sure.
Just what I need. Just like when I go on the road and the manager would come up to me and go, no cancer jokes tonight. Okay, I had 3. None. All right, that's it. Don't need to ask what. Turned out the owner's wife had cancer. You know what I mean?
Sure.
This is professionalism. This is regular. Sometimes I go on the road, they're like, no crowd work. None. All right, no crowd work. Not even going to ask. All material. All they'll do, no material. All crowd work. Or there's a 40, And so with our hosts, it's don't give that. Come on, I need more. I hate that. I just think of the audience.
It's desperate.
Yeah, what I would say is, hey, we got 3 more comics left. We're going to get you up and out. Give them the same love. Please give them the same love that you gave the first comics. I know what kind of deal. You've been an amazing audience, and we're going to bring you home. Always be like, I love being that like pilot of the plane. We're coming in for a safe landing. We're almost. You're their guide. You're their rock as a host.
Yeah.
Hosting's a lost art.
Yeah.
It's just a lost art.
Well, I think people poo-poo it, but I think hosting is kind of a cool way to flex your muscles.
Well, I think it's a necessary way. My advice to anybody, if you're new and you want to be a comic and you're not hosting, I think you're missing the ball big
Hosting
time.
is good too, because let me put it to you this way. Hosting, you can get crowd work tapes. If you're recording your hosting, a lot of hosting is crowd work. And a lot of what really goes well on social media is the crowd work.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Right, so you use it to your advantage. Get that opportunity for a lot of crowd work.
I always say this: you should host because you're on stage more.
Yeah,
I don't
that
understand.
too.
Like we have a hosting program, you know, and it's been great. We're really full. Like a lot of people are asking to host, which is great, but we don't have a room for everyone. But the thing is, I always say, if you go into an open mic and you're going to sit there and wait for 20 names to be called, why don't you be the one that calls the names?
Yeah,
Why are you going to sit there?
Right.
You know, get up there, get those reps, do that. You know, host every opportunity you can, whether it's a mic or show. It's just great, you know, practice. Some people are not natural hosts. You know, certain people are like, you'll get someone like Dave Attell or, you know, like, and I'm sure he hosted, I'm sure he was great, but like, you know, just, you know, some people are just Judah Friedlander, you know, they're like personalities and characters and, you know, they're not, like, hey.
Yeah. Like Al LaBelle. That would be like a funny host.
Exactly. and at the same time, once you've been hosting, and I went through this too, and everyone goes through this, once you've been hosting and you get known as a host and hired as a host, you got to make sure that you've got your feature spots, that you can not, because there was a time where I was doing so much hosting, I was like, holy shit, I don't even have a set. I'm so used to warming it, and I was like, whoa, and I took a step back, hired hosts, and moved on. So you got to have that set. Too.
Gotcha.
That's really, really
Do
important.
people ever come to you and say like, "Oh, hey, listen, you know, you really got to put my brother on"? Like, you know, I'm sure they do all the time, but how do you handle that when you know somebody's not as funny as, say, somebody else thinks they are?
Oh, you mean a recommendation?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I learned a long time ago. I ran a really tight ship and room because first thing I saw when I started producing is all these comics will show up in the middle of their show. Are you the booker? Oh, when can I? And this is not the time.
Right.
Tip number 4. Do not show up at a show unannounced and ask to speak to the producer who's booking the show and tell them you're a comic. That person is producing a show and they are working, and you are the last person they want to see. Find out who they are, get their info, contact them on the side.
Good advice.
It's always going to come through a referral.
Great
I
advice.
won't look at unsolicited tapes. We get 5 tapes a day. Oh, I'm a headliner. Delete. Darren goes, what do I do with this? Delete. A headline. You're a headliner. Why are you calling me? You're a headliner.
Right.
Call the seller.
Right.
Tell them you're a headliner. I'm sure they know you.
Yeah.
They know you at all this, right? That's a joke.
These are people from out of town.
That's a joke. I'm sure they know you. Yeah. I'm a headliner from New Orleans. I'm like, and is my favorite. And I'm a headliner from New Orleans. And you're fucking nobody in this town. You fucking nobody cares. One club owner would say to me, I get all these emails I'm passing through. Why would I want to book someone passing through? I don't even have enough spots for the people that live here. It's true. Yeah. Hey, just so you know, I'm on a tour. I'll be passing through New York from the 18th to the 21st. If you have anything. And the guy was like, why would I want to book anyone passing through? I want people that live here, and I don't have spots for the fucking people that live here. That's funny, right?
Where we at? We were talking about tips. So we were talking about, give us some tips for stand-up comedy and tell us about some things that aggravate you when people call you. Tell us some of those stories.
Well, the aggravation, let's one thing at a time. Let's do like a couple basic tips. A
Yeah,
disclaimer.
please.
All tips are suggestions.
Okay.
You will learn this craft on your own in your own time.
We won't hold you to it.
They're
Perfect.
just suggestions, but they're suggestions. So, the first thing is when you take the mic, you get on stage, you take the mic out of the stand, move the mic, stand out of the way, but grab it by the nut or below. Because if you grab it above, which new comics will do, one day it's going to come out. So that happened to me once. So now I'm standing there, and I had an improv background, so I'm like, I'm a warrior from another life holding a spear. And it was funny. But what I didn't plan on, and I put it down, it was all broken, and when the set was over, I had to put it back together for the host. That was the awkward part.
Yeah, that's
now
awkward.
we're taking 2 minutes time, and we're this guy. You don't want it to come apart, so grab it by the nut or below. But the first thing is, and also when people are new, they kind of, they don't even know how to grab it. Just keep it simple.
Yeah.
If you're holding the mic in this hand, okay, the mic's going to be in the stand.
Right.
But you take the mic out, just take it to the left, get it out of the way, and put it behind you, not over here, because you got people on the left. Another thing, too, very important, a lot of rooms in New York are kind of rectangular.
Yeah.
So I always call it taking the wings. What I mean by taking the wings is, let's say you're the 5th comic in a new talent show. Okay, I guarantee you the first 4 comics have not acknowledged the people in the very far corners. So the first thing I do when I get on stage, say at the stand and it's packed in the main room, is thank you. I get up, thank you, and I make eye contact with the furthest booth on the left and eye contact with the furthest booth on the right, and they will look forward and just smile because someone is acknowledging them.
That's a good tip.
That's a really good
Absolutely.
tip.
Take in the wings. Remember, the people in front, they're going to be good. They've been entertained. It's the people in the back that could be remote and distant. You know, and I like to do crowd work with people in the back, because I call the people in the back the pussies, in the front the heroes. You know, the ones I didn't want to sit in the front. So they so I do the crowd with the people that didn't want to sit in the front because they want to get called on. So I call on them and talk to them in the back. But the point is, this is my style. This is not how you do stand up. My style is to involve the whole room, get them all going. So I love the eye contact. Thank you, and I'll even joke with them. I go, let's hear it for the worst seats in the house. Who came late? You came late, didn't you? The worst seats in the. Have fun. Rule number one. Always have fun. So you see new comics all the time. I book with them, and they're right before their set, they're facing the wall, reciting their line. And I just put my arm and I go, listen, fuck this shit. Just go up there, have fun. You don't know it. You're not going to know. It's not memorization. Stand-up's not memorization. Get up there and have fucking fun. Have fun. Have fun when you're bombing. I mean, just try and really embrace and laugh, because the audience never laughs at jokes or text. They don't laugh at text. If they did, I could read 10 great jokes from a book and get applause breaks. Never going to happen. You're never going to get applause or laughter from reading. It's from connection. They laugh at emotion, energy and emotion. You have to be emotional. You've got to feel that. It's kind of advanced, and people could go, oh, this guy's fucked up. But to me, it's about love. It's about coming up there and feeling these people that came out to laugh on a Saturday night. You spent all this money. They want to laugh. Just, you know, because I think if you have a great time and you show, be honest and have integrity, and, you know, they'll come to you. And they know, like in our shows, they know you're new comics. You know, people come to Laughing Buddha shows. They're not expecting Gaffigan, although he has dropped in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're there to support,
Cool.
you know, new comedy. So that's wing two. The give it up for the hosts, we mentioned before. There's no right or wrong, but for the most part, if every comic starts giving up for the host, how do you think the audience feels when the host is like, just 2 more comics left, and he gets off stage? 1 more time for the host. You don't have to give it up for the host. It's a waste. How are you? Don't ask the audience how you are. This is something Patrice O'Neill would say. You know, these tips are not necessarily mine. They're
Patrice O'Neill would say how are you, or he would say don't say.
He said don't pander. Don't ask insincere questions.
Right.
Why would you ask someone how are you?
Yeah.
Where are you from? Okay, listen, I'm on the road and I'm hosting or something. I know where they're from. They're from Connecticut. I'm on the road in Connecticut. Right. But let's say I'm in a room in Times Square and I might just, sir, where are you visiting from? Sure, it's a genuine question.
Sure.
Where are you visiting from, sir?
Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore? Oh, what brought you to Times Square?
I wanted to laugh.
So first thing I did is he said Jersey Shore, and I repeat Jersey Shore. Why?
Because the people in the back might have not heard it.
When you're in a big room, they will hear it. So all of a sudden I make a joke. That sucks. They don't know what I'm talking about. So where are you from, sir?
Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore. What brought you to Times Square tonight?
I wanted to come and laugh.
You wanted to come and laugh. You can't laugh in Jersey Shore?
No, they throw you in jail for that.
Wow, they throw you in jail for that. That's so cool. I'm gay. Do you get to fuck other guys when you're thrown in jail? This is amazing. I'm just going to go to Jersey Shore after the show. Fuck Times Square. This is bullshit.
That's good.
Okay, there you go. So
Cool.
Be yourself. Notice I went right to gay fucking.
Right.
That's just me. Be yourself. If I had to do that 10 times, I'm not going to do that joke.
Don't do gay fucking.
No, do gay fucking. It'll work for you. You look like
I
a daddy.
I gotta write that down.
Judson, you look like a daddy. You really do.
He does
Chris
look
like a bitch, but you look like a dad.
Shit. He's so like that. Wait,
Okay,
so,
so we
some more
got
tips.
so don't be the 11th guy to get. Be genuine. Don't ask them how they're doing. You don't care. You care how you're doing.
Wait,
If you're
question,
really
though.
nervous, tell them you're fucking nervous. Tell them hey, I'm sorry, the set's not quite great. It's my second time doing stand-up. You'll get an applause break because you're honest. If you hide it and be like, what else? Don't give what else do I want to? Mark Norman said this on a tip. And again, my tips are going to be tips you've heard from millions of comics. They're basic, you know. What was I just saying before?
Mark
What
Norman.
else? What else do I want to talk about? Really?
Mark Norman does that, or you're saying that he makes fun of people that do that?
No. Yeah, right. He's like, you didn't. I'm saying the same thing.
it's like you don't know.
No, Mark doesn't do that. Comics say, what else do I want to talk about? So Mark would say, really? You knew you were going on stage all night and you only have 5 minutes, and after 3 minutes, you don't know what you want to talk about? Really? You couldn't? And that's the same thing. Don't waste words. If you have to say to the audience, what else should I talk about? Like you're wasting time. Cut the cut the likes. Every word counts. No one will ever do this assignment. It was given to me. I've given it to 1,000 people. No one will ever do it. You want to be a fucking comic? Do it. Tape yourself. and you go home, doesn't matter, it's to be a perfect set, you could bomb, and you were to write out every single fucking word you said on that tape. So if your joke is, hey, I've been in New York City so long, I see rats in the subway and I recognize them, I'm going to write that out word for word. I'm not going to be like, hey, you know, and let's say I'm on stage, I'm like, geez, oh my God, should I have? Nah, I'm going to move on. And I'm going to write this out, everything I did, and then I'm going to look at my set. And when you do that, you will see that, I don't know, half of what you said is unnecessary. You have to look at your stuff. You have to do the work. You have to tape. Every time you're on that stage, you go home and you study your tape. Today's comic, no offense, but when I started, it was no social media. There were no internet, no smartphones. We go home and watch your tape. That was it. There's nothing to do. Now everyone goes out. Everyone goes out drinking after. I did my set. Let's go out for have drinks. You know, you want to be a comic, you do the work.
Right.
How many hours a week to put in? At least 40. 40. How many? Do you know how many? Most comics that are new that want to be comedians tell me they do 3 spots a week, maybe 5, and they tell me they write an hour a day. It's probably a half hour. So if they write an hour a day, it's 7 hours a week. Hour a day's a lot. I mean, Seinfeld wrote 2 hours a day. Like, it's a lot. 7 hours a week, and you go out twice a week to Mike's, you're putting in 11 hours. Do you guys got a career in showbiz that can make a living putting in 11 hours a week?
No.
Do you have one that can make a living put it in 20?
No.
40? Maybe.
40, yeah.
Yeah. So my point is approach this like a job. It's a job. You have to write every day. You have to go out every night. And if you say, oh, you know, it's cold tonight. I don't want to go out. Good, stay home. I'll take your spot.
Right.
You know, that's what I used to. I used to go out every fucking night, no matter what.
Well, so question for you on the topic of like talking to the crowd, right? So I do this thing where I'm like, are you a good crowd? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, because I'm really insecure. Is that a beginner move or is that a...
No, I'm not here to judge that. That's
Well,
you. Be yourself.
I just want your advice.
I mean, my advice is, I can't answer that really. I mean, you're asking me like, I'm not, you have to be yourself. If that,
Yeah.
What do you ask them? What do you say?
I
Are
say,
you a good crowd?
are you guys a good crowd?
Right.
Good, because I'm really insecure.
Okay, what if they say we're not?
Then I say, fuck, because I'm really insecure.
And if they say they're good?
Good, because
Why
I'm really
are you
insecure.
asking them if they're a good crowd? Why don't you just say I'm really insecure? Why are you wasting time? You're achieving absolutely nothing by talking to those people.
I think what I perceive that I'm doing when I do that is opening up the tone of like it being a dialogue between me.
It's
and...
not. I mean, it is with them laughing, but you don't want them calling shout. So, is this a good crowd? We're great. What's your problem? You open it up.
Yeah.
And you need to have command the room
Right.
at all times. And when you open it up with rhetorical questions, or like, are you guys a good crowd? They're going to go, yeah. And then you're like, good, because I'm insecure. Is that what you say?
Yeah.
Just get up and say, hey, why are you wasting? You're pandering. That's pandering.
That's
Don't
pandering.
waste your fucking time with that. What is it? The topic is, I am insecure. Are you insecure?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's like a heavy topic for a person to write. Start talking about. Don't waste your time with them.
Don't say it.
It's a waste. Do you see what I'm saying?
I have a great question for you.
Insecure. I'm insecure. How are you insecure?
A lot of ways.
Okay, tell me one.
My height.
How
bothers
tall are
me.
you?
I'm 5'5".
So at 5'5", so you feel like you don't measure up to other guys, but you have a beautiful girlfriend.
I have a
Wife?
I have a beautiful girlfriend and
I was just going to say, wife. You
that's
just
like
stole
a
my
wife.
joke. Right. So you're insecure about your height. I'm insecure about. Everyone has insecurities.
Yeah.
But you're 5'5", and you seem successful, and you're smart, and you're good looking, and you
thanks,
could lose
dude.
a few pounds. So what?
I didn't say the fat part. You
Well, I do. You can lose a lot more than a few pounds. But the point is, if the topic is, I am insecure,
yeah.
then talk about it, man.
Yeah,
And
that's
stop,
what I
stop
do,
with
yeah.
the pandering. You don't
Yeah.
need that. They're not part of it.
That's the-
Here's the thing. Like, I used to do a bit where it'd be like, who supports gay marriage? This is years ago when it wasn't like, and no one would clap. And it would be like, oh, great, you're all homophobic. But I'm doing it to get that reaction of no one, who's supports gay marriage? I mean, this is like 15 years ago, Who supports gay marriage? And I'm doing it, and they don't clap, and they go, oh, so you're all homophobic, and then they laugh. I'm using them as part of the bit. Follow? Don't ask rhetorical. I mean, usually when comics like, how are you doing tonight? Are you a good crowd? You guys ready? You know, it's just like a waste.
It's a waste of time.
It's pandering. So you just you have a heavy topic. It's a great topic. Finding our faults as comedians is paramount. All right. So I'm insecure. You're insecure. That's your topic. Start writing. Take a mic and just talk about your insecurities. That'd be my advice. People always ask me, "What?"
Everybody's insecure though.
So
That's
but
why
it's
I
about
say
him
yeah.
doing his insecure. Like your insecurities are mine.
But in other words, this is an exercise that we should all do because we're all inherently insecure.
People always ask me, what do I do at a mic? And I go, well, how many mics a week you do? Because that would really affect. In other words, I used to do 2-3 mics a night, right? So I got told very early on, I talk too fast. And the advice I was given
On stage, you talk too fast?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And my advice I was given by my mentors is I want you to go to a mic. I want you to take a stool. I don't want you to do material. Because once you go into material, blah, 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 blah. I just want you to talk slow on a stool. I don't give a fuck what you say. And I went to a mic that night, and I'll never forget, and I sat in the stool, and I was like, hey, how is it going? And everyone's like, this is really weird. And I was like, well, I just came from the Greek diner, and I ordered from the menu. And I just went like really slow, really only focused on that. And after the mic, like 3 people came up to me and go, that's the best we've ever seen you. Like I got laughs, and I learned. And then I did another one, go so. Now, I can't tell anyone or you what to do, but what I'm saying is I had so many mics, I could take a mic, practice slow. I tell comics sometimes, that they're like, what do I do at a mic? Well, that's up to you. If you go in and the room's packed, maybe you want to run your A-list. Run your A-set. Go for the kill. Make a tape. If I came into a mic room, we used to have the lantern, and we'd be 40 people in the room. I was trying to set the tape. We'd have the tripod in the back. I would set it up, 40 people in the room, and just run my 10-minute set. Best set I can. Because I could capture a killer set.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or I might just decide this is a great crowd to try my edgy stuff out. You know, if I do a 5 o'clock mic with 7 comedians, I might not bother with, you know, and if I'm doing a late night mic and there's audience, but the point is, there's no one way to do it. Just keep getting up. It's just volume.
That's a really good question. Actually, that leads me to another question, which is going and doing a lot. Sometimes I do a lot of mics, and it's going to be at the same places with the same comedians, and they hear the same material, and I feel like I'm beating a dead horse sometimes, even though I got laughs at first, and I feel like I'm kind of wasting my time throwing this out to the same people in the same room, the same people in the same room, same people in the same room, and I'm starting to not like it anymore. And then, you know, what do I do with that?
Okay, great question. First off, there's no wrong mic. There's no bad mic. Every time you get on that stage, you're going to improve somehow, some way. And you make a great point. Why do the same material for the same comedian? So first off, tip number 7, get out of your comfort zone. Why are you going to the same mic with the same people? I'm asking you.
Good point. Well, it's close.
Okay, so convenient? You think
Yeah.
convenient? So Madison Square Garden's close? That's convenient too? When you get to that level?
I see where
Not going to
he's
play
going.
Barclays too far in Brooklyn? That's right. Get out of your fucking comfort zone. Where do you live? Here?
Yeah.
Okay, go to Harlem. There's mics in Harlem. Go to Jersey City. Very inconvenient, Doc.
Yeah.
Very inconvenient.
Sure.
I want to see you do that. That's how you get better.
Okay.
Get out of your comfort zone. Don't waste your time. It's not a waste of time. There's no such thing as a bad mic. None. You show up, there's 2 people, you each do 2 minutes, you're going to be better than if you stayed home.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You
That
know,
makes
I don't
sense.
believe, mics are bad habits. You
But
know,
I'm talking about, in other words, like as far as consistency is concerned, like in other words, I have a normal job, and so like I have to actually make my schedule. So hey, listen, I'm gonna get home at 8. I could get home, jump in the shower, and run down the street to make the 9 o'clock mic. I wouldn't be able to make it to Jersey to that mic or Harlem.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So sometimes
so then
I'm
you
trying
go
to be a little bit practical.
yeah. Listen, again, it's doing the best you can.
Yeah.
Sometimes you ever gone to the gym and find out it's closed because it's a holiday and it closed early and you didn't know?
Right.
That happens to me. What do I do next? I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me go home and
watch
grab my
porno.
bike. Yeah, go home and jerk off. Gym's closed. Go home, jerk off. Yeah. Maybe relapse and get some drugs.
Okay.
But you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, so you shouldn't be in the same room with the same people.
Okay.
I mean, it's fine if that's like your base, you know,
Right.
and then even so, you have the same people, then throw out news. I mean, I can't tell you or anyone how you do this.
But just do more mics. Do more mics. Do more mics.
But also, if
and
it's
do
the
them in
same,
different places.
why are you doing the same material with the same comics? Just try 5 minutes of improvisational stuff. How's that? Give me a topic, any topic.
Premature ejaculation.
Premature ejaculation. Can we get just something like less fucking
Fire trucks.
fire trucks? Fine. I
COVID.
like that. Fire trucks. I have no material on fire trucks, all right, I'm going to do 5 minutes, not 5 for the sake of the podcast, but I'm going to do 5 on fire trucks. So I lived across from a fire station when I was in NYU. It was, I lived in Edgar Allan Poe's old bedroom in a brownstone, and the firehouse across the street was purchased by Anderson Cooper. And that's now his home. So I could actually tie the pre-ejaculation Anderson Cooper and the fire truck and me together. So why don't we do that? So I'm going to work on 2 topics. So these fire trucks would come out, and these guys were so hot. Now I'm closeted in a fraternity. It's 1987. I hear, woo, woo. And I'm like, that was my cue to look out the window and just watch those hunky firemen and those fire trucks just pull out. And, okay, stop. I just did 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah. Find some time to give yourself permission to fail. Leave your ego at the door. Give yourself permission to fail. Leave your ego at the door. It doesn't matter how you do in front of these comics. Doesn't matter. If they all go out. I used to work shit out at mics. I sucked at mics because I was always working shit out. And I remember one day I was in a bar. It's like a bar show in the Village. And I was having a good set. And this guy came up to me and goes, gee, you're really funny. I was like, thank you, but you said that like you're surprised. I'm funny. He goes, yeah, honestly. I go, oh, you know me from that mic or this guy had only ever seen me work on material. He'd never seen me try for a kill. So one of the problems I think in the mic rooms today is everyone's worried about what their comic friends think, especially with social media. You're being judged and you're always trying to go for your best and you're not give yourself permission to fail.
Okay.
There's no such thing. One of my biggest tips, by the way, have been working on a book, which I never mentioned, and it's called Stand Up 101, and it's 101 tips that I've written over the last 15 years.
Nice.
And it's almost
we got
done.
like 10 of them just now.
I'm going through some of them,
Yeah.
exactly, is what
Cool.
I'm doing. Not that just happened that way. But what was I just saying before the...
The comics, you go up and you don't worry about how you...
Give yourself permission to fail.
Give yourself permission.
You're talking about the book.
Leave your ego at the door. Remember, this is something I always say to people close to me. I go, all these comics in the room that you're worried about what they think, they're gone in a year.
Well, okay.
They're gone. The 2 years later, the room is completely different.
Well, so here's the thing, though. I will say, I have a lot of hobbies, right? Like, I'm into video games, I'm into art, painting, stuff like that. I will say, stand-up comedy, like, there are a lot of people who just treat it as a hobby. There's a lot of people who are trying to make it as, like, a career. I would say it's the most catty and jealous, toxic environment of all the kind of extracurricular activities I've ever done.
Are you picking on comedians?
Yes.
Well, I have a friend who's a musician, who's a big musician, and we became friendly during the pandemic. And he said to me, because I'm back into my music, and he said to me, I lived with 2 open micers when I lived in New York City. And I go, how'd it go? He goes, these are the 2 most miserable human beings I've ever met in my life. The business is toxic. Our job as comedians is to be negative and cynical. It really is. It's like, everything's beautiful. Isn't that funny? It's extremely competitive.
Right.
So if I said to you, like, and I've said this to friends, it was like, oh my God, I just got booked for a big show. What show? Mayo Performing Arts, 1,400 people. How'd you get that? And the look of fear of the God is on all their faces.
Yeah.
And, how'd I get that? Well, I did 1,852 mics in my first 5 years. I get that. I fucked the producer. How else do you get things?
Right.
The work that you have to do. This is the one thing that I could say, anybody that's been around as long as I have, and the new comics, when you call yourselves comedians, earn it, Open micers might be more appropriate for a lot of people. Oh, I'm a comic. But what is a comic? I think it's a personal decision. But there's people that labored in this business for years and years and years and years. And pay your dues.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to get past in these clubs in their first year. I've never seen anything like that. That's a whole nother racket that I don't like at all, because listen, there's no rules. If you get spots, fine, whatever. But these people, I've had people like literally be like, oh, I'm past at so-and-so. And what the fuck does that mean? Means you brought some guests out?
Right.
You pass for checks late night, so you go up in front of 4 people at a remote club in an empty room, and you're passed. And it becomes very competitive, and you just got to remember, have your own goal and your own plan. This is a business of youth. I knew Pete Davidson when he started at 16. I was bringing Amy Schumer to the stage when I was hosting at Stand Up New York years ago. I remember when Mark Norman and Chris Stefano and Emma Willman all started in their early 20s. You know, this is a business of youth. So if you're starting at 40, 30s, 40, you have to be practical. You have to understand that a manager, an agent, your managers were like 15, they're going to get 15, 20% of what you make. You're not making any money. They have to pitch you. They got to pitch you to Comedy Central. Their demographics like 35 and under. They got to pitch you to late night TV. It's youth, unless you're famous in your 50s.
Right.
You know, they're going to pitch you to MTV. It's 28 and under. You know, don't challenge me on all those stats. But you know what I'm saying? They can't pitch you to all this stuff. They don't want to represent you. Now you got no manager. You know, what do you do? Okay, I'll tell you what you do. Do what I do. Not so much produce. You do everything humanly possible to be the best you can be. And go to sleep at the end of the night. Right. You know, I was told early on, you're too old, the clubs don't want you. I started at 42. I'm like, what do I need to do? And my friend's like, you need to get on stage every night. Started producing shows. Next thing I know, a club owner had a dead club. The club was going out of business. You may have heard of it. It was called the New York Comedy Club. And he said, if you want to run it, I'll give you the keys. You go in there with Laughing Buddha. And we had the keys.
Was it Dennis? Who owns the building there? The Dennis?
No. This was back in the old days. Al Martin was the owner.
I'm sorry. Continue.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And Al gave me the keys.
Yeah.
And I remember I called a very big. I had my mentors.
Oh, Al, the one who has Greenwich and
Greenwich and Broadway. Yeah. So another advice too: find a mentor. You know, that doesn't have to be a sponsor or something. I'll help anyone that comes my way, and I don't need to charge you for class. I'm giving to. I don't give a fuck anymore. You know what I'm saying? But I haven't met it. But you know, I called my mentor at the time, was a very big comedian, and I said, I'm being offered the keys to New York Comedy Club, but I'm producing in Stand Up New York, I'm producing elsewhere, what do I do? And they said to me, honey, when someone gives you the keys to a comedy club, you take the fucking keys.
Right.
You need massive amounts of stage time. It doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter if you're in the cellar, you're in there. You need massive amounts to be great. Massive. 10 times what you think you need. And I got the keys. I opened that up. We started Laughing Buddha there. We started 99-cent shows, the 99-cent Comedy Store. The place started getting back. And there I was now doing 20-minute spots twice a week. Monday, Tuesday. I was doing 20-minute spots like 4 nights a week. Wow. Just in that club.
And you were a social hub.
Then I'm trading spots and this. Next thing you know, as soon as that started, I'm on stage all night long.
Right.
And I'm literally going from New York to Broadway to a spot we had this hostel on the Upper West Side where no one spoke English. So you go up and you talk and they don't do anything, but everyone would take the spots because it was a spot. And I would get up there and go, what is it with you people? I bought I bring like an English translation book with me. Read this while I'm up here. I had so much fun with them. They were the worst. It's just
Anyway, so, you know, I mean, I think that, you know, different people have different, you know, aspirations. For example, you know, I would just want to be like, if somebody has a podcast or something like that and they wanted somebody with a medical opinion, it'd be like, oh, I fucking, who's that fucking Dr. Judd guy? That would be cool. Like, you know what I mean? That's a reasonable expectation, I think. Hey, dude, we have, you know, this thing going on, blah, blah, blah. You know, we should have on the target. Let's have that fucking asshole Dr. Judd. He might have an interesting, you know. So something like that, I think, are reasonable aspirations for a guy like myself.
Also, right, here's the thing. This is about Mark Maron before. You know, the problem is that everybody... He basically says, like, you're all going to be so disappointed unless you get practical about who you are. And if you know, if you say, hey, I'm 40 or whatever, I don't know how old you are, and you're doing this part-time because you got a full-time job, and you want to be the best you can be, you know, you absolutely can one day be on the road, headline a club of this. But as far as making you're beyond that. You don't want it. You don't want it. And you don't need it.
Right.
That's the beauty of comedy. And first, let me tell you something else, too. A lot of people I know that headline on the road, have been on TV, have day jobs. And there's absolutely no shame. They go through great lengths to lie about it, some of them, and I don't get it. There's no shame to say, I'm a doctor by day and I do stand-up at night.
Right.
There's no shame in being honest.
Yeah.
It's so funny that we live in a business and we talk all the time about how honesty is everything. And to me, it's like the most dishonest business I've ever been in by far. And I've been in rock and roll. I've been in acting and theater. This is the bowels of the drugs, the alcohol, the club owners. This is the bowels.
So I'm sure you have some great stories about what are some of what's the craziest thing that happened while you were on stage?
I got a crazy thing that happened when I wasn't on stage, but I was in the room. I'd say, if you say the craziest thing that happened would be the Dominican boxer chick that weighed 300 pounds and refused to get off the stage. So we decided to like try and throw her off, and a brawl broke out. And then her husband, who's got a criminal record, jumped in, and then someone tried to hit me, and then I got in the brawl. And then next thing I know, New York Comedy Club is yellow taped from 2nd Avenue to 3rd Avenue. There's 4 ambulances outside, 6 cop cars. I beat someone up and then had a panic attack. So I'm like on the floor, and they're like, and then I said to the cop, I'm like, I need an ambulance. And he's like, you were fine a minute ago. I'm like, I'm not fine now. I had a panic. I never had a panic attack. After the brawl, I laid down and had a panic attack.
Wow.
Then we go home. Then I wasn't, 3 people were arrested. I wasn't arrested. Then I go home and I lost my keys in the brawl. So now, then I call the locksmith, who's Israeli, my people, and he wants $700 fucking dollars just to break the lock in the middle of the night. Not to put the new lock on. I do for you, my friend. I do 700. 700? I was just in a brawl. I'm bleeding. Look at me. I think I negotiated down to 649 or so, you know, like,
Good job.
like 650. You have a heart. Have a heart. I know someone, you don't know what they can do.
Do you feel like each year you get better, or do you sometimes feel like,
No,
man, I feel like I kind of lost a little bit of my skills. I've been doing it.
It's a great question. He asks great questions.
That's why he's
He really
here.
does.
This is the best.
You really do. It's interesting is overall, my sets were better 5 years ago before the pandemic. Now, I would be at the stand. I use that example, my Saturday show. And if I had 2 or 3 applause breaks in 15 minutes, I was pissed. That was like a bad night. Like like I was just crushing. And then the pandemic, everything got weird.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, we were running shows. You know, you could find, you weren't allowed to do comedy, so Eastville billed it as trivia night. And it said online, it said, Jeff Lawrence and Janine Garofalo star in trivia night at
cool.
Eastville. Right, so then we get in, there's like 16 people with COVID, masks all spread out throughout the club. And then we get on stage, thank you. I want to welcome everyone to trivia night. What's the capital of Mississippi? Okay, let's do this. So I was born in Queens, and I would throw out a stupid question and then launch the stand-up. You don't know if they're like
Why? Because you
inspectors.
weren't allowed to do comedy, but you could do trivia?
That's correct.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it's trivia night.
That's
so
some
I would go out
Cuomo
there.
shit.
I'd be like, what's the capital of Mississippi? Anybody? Okay, trivia night's over. It's all right. And then I would just launch into my stand-up. And in the pandemic, I personally started tackling a lot of edgy stuff. You know, edgy, like the Black Lives Matter limit, all the people dying of COVID. It was like all this stuff happening, and it was not going that great. You know, people. Let me just.
People are sensitive.
Let me just preface that during that period, a lot of times an audience would come in and they would just be scared. There's just nothing we could do. Like they're bundled up, the COVID, we don't know what's happening. They're just kind of scared. It's really hard to do comedy when people are that fearful. So some nights were just great. They were just ready to laugh and let it go. But during that period, I started changing. I was letting go. This is very common. Someone doing this as long as I am, 16, 17 years we're coming up on. Is you want to get rid of, take that stuff. You know, George Carlin talks about this. Louis C.K. You take that shit and throw it out and start over, kind of. And that's kind of, in a lot of ways, what I've done post-pandemic.
Okay.
So I am not expecting my sets to be as big as they were. Is Chris Rock's, not that I'm in his league, I'm comparing us, but is his second special as good as his first? Never. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, specials go downhill. It's really hard to maintain, you know.
Right.
So I'd say like a lot is changing for me. I bring in new material. I'm more myself. I do more crowd work now.
Okay.
Also, and I'm being very transparent and upfront. Like my memory was so. I used to have a photographic. I still have a photographic memory. I remember childhood phone numbers I haven't called in 40 years. I have a very gifted memory, and so my Rolodex of material was just, and I could just sense a crowd and go bump there, and now it's gotten older. My brain isn't as sharp, and sometimes I'm on stage and I just fucking forget. You know, I'll even tell the audience, what was I talking about? They're like, cocaine. Oh, thank you. You know,
Oh, I thought that was a bit when you do
no,
that.
sometimes I just forget where I'm at. I'm like, this is what I mean about doing stand-up. It's like, why pretend that I forgot and try it? Oh, what else we can talk about? I was like, I just forgot what I was talking about. What? Honesty. Everybody wants it. You know, what do I talk about? Cocaine. Thank you so much. All right, so let's talk about cocaine and pussy. All right. And just be yourself. I mean, that's, you know. Cool. So I'd say that I mean, what's my best set? That's a tough one, but I'd say, I've done, I remember I did a set opening for Gilbert Gottfried.
That's cool.
Out at, I opened for Gilbert a bit, and lovely man. I got the privilege of knowing him and having dinner with him on his birthday and things like that. He's a very sweet man, and people don't really know because you just know the character. Yeah. But he was very quiet and very introverted.
I saw that documentary on him. Really cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, where he was like about his sister. And yeah, really cool.
Yeah, and he's very, and we did this show at New Paltz. I remember we showed up. There was a winner, and there was a line of like 1,000. I was so many people that were camped out, and I literally said, "There was this Radiohead here." Who are they camped out for? And they're like, you. Me? Well, you and Gilbert. Me and Gilbert.
Wow.
And they were all staring at me. And then, because they had billed this thing, and to them, they don't know, I'm just the, And so those shows, we did a couple at New Paltz, were incredible.
Wow.
Because they're there. You got to remember, there's a big difference between all these kids lined up to see Gilbert Gottfried, and I'm the opener, so they're there with me too. And people that come to a bringer show at the stand and are just there to support their friend. I get word Isaiah Thomas, the Knicks GM, is in the audience.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm the biggest Nets fan in the world. And nobody acknowledges him. I've been to and I got another one too. Remind me, Joe Klecko. I want to talk about that one. But so Isaiah Thomas in the audience, and I get on stage, and I'm like, and I got bits about basketball and everything. And I go, ladies and gentlemen, there's someone in the audience that no one has recognized tonight. He's a man, so you can see him like smiling right away. Let's go down. And he's a man that I love dearly because I'm a Nets fan, and he destroyed the Knicks. And everyone knows Isaiah Thomas was grilled as a GM. Horrible. His trades, like he destroyed the Knicks. So thank you. And he just went,
damn, dude,
like this,
That's savage.
And then I had this gay pride bit about showing up and thinking I'm going to see hot dudes, but I saw all this weird shit. So I was like, I'll just stick to pussy. And he came up to me after, and he grabs me and he goes like, I love you, man.
Oh, that's
I
cool. That's
love
amazing.
you. Your pride story, you're this. He goes, would you like to have dinner with me and my wife right now?
Oh,
and I'm
my
like,
God.
hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, well, let me just tell my staff and grab my things. I'll be right up.
Wow.
And then I hear screams. And people start running out of the stand. There's a fire.
No.
There's a fire in the
my
kitchen.
God.
There's a fire. There's smoke. And I'm like, oh my
Brutal.
God, we have our bags. And now I got to worry about the crowd and the staff. And he's like, what's up? I'm like, there's a fire. It's nothing. I don't think it's serious, but like, I can't go out and meet you. Is there any way? He goes, yeah. He goes, my son is DJing at a party after dinner. Why don't you meet us there? I go, done.
Yeah.
So, and then I met him there.
Oh, awesome.
And so I showed up at the party, and I'm hanging out with Isaiah, and I'm like, so what do you think of the Nets this year? I mean, they made this deal. They got KG. They got Paul Pierce. And he goes, I just want to talk about your
Comedy.
set. Yeah.
Oh, that's so
and he
cool.
recalled every joke I had.
That's cool. That's amazing.
Me and Isaiah hung out. And then here's another great one. Great story for me. Oh, God. There was a room called Danny's Upstairs many years ago. It was run by Danny Aiello.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah. And you couldn't
more
get a
time
gig.
around.
Very mafia, Italian,
Yeah, yeah.
like your family or you're not. And I was kind of new. I was a few years in. I did not expect to get booked or even tried. But I knew the booker. It was a young woman named Lori Nikki Forchik. And she would do mics and stuff. So we became friendly. And that's it. Like I never bothered her or asked her. Some of these people, you got any spots? You got any spots to make you fucking crazy?
Right.
I was never that way. So one day I get a call and it's Laura. She goes, hey, would you be interested in playing Danny's Upstairs? I go, are you serious? Yeah, I would love to. And she goes, I think you'd be great there, and I want to book you. I go, great. Wow, when is it? It's like next Wednesday, whatever it was. It's like a few days away. Okay, great. And I get a call like an hour later. She goes, Danny just watched your tape and would like you to join him for dinner.
Get
before
out
the
of
show.
here.
Nice.
I go, really? That's fucking awesome. So I was like, oh my God. And then I met Danny. And Danny, like when you were in his family, you're in his family.
Wow.
Like he used to kiss me on both cheeks.
Wow,
when he
that's
saw me.
amazing.
So Danny, I became a regular in his room. I did so first off, like, it was a tough room sometimes. A tough room a lot, actually, because it was like a restaurant and everything. And then one night, like, a couple people were bombing. I'm like, put me up.
Yeah.
And his son would run it. Unfortunately, his son passed away. But his son would, like, run the show. And they go, no, I got to get, like, they didn't know I was new. They go, no, we got to get, like, a pro up there. The next day I go up and bomb.
Right.
And then next guy, and then finally they put me up, and I would like have a good set,
Yeah.
you know, and everything would get them going. Then be like a month later, and then the crowd sucks. A couple guys go up, and Danny goes, "Put the gay guy up already! What the fuck are we waiting for here?" So, but he goes, he didn't even have my name in it. He's like, get the gay guy up. He's great. So one night, Joe Klecko's in the audience. Do you know who Joe Klecko is?
No.
Do you know who Joe Klecko is? Okay. Joe Klecko is one of the greatest defensive linemen in the history of the NFL. He's one of the greatest. He was an all-pro Jet linebacker, and the Jets sucked. You know, Klecko's in the fucking front row. Nobody's acknowledging him.
Right.
No, but the host is like, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And you can see Joe's not laughing. Nobody's laughing. Tough room.
Yeah.
Right? Danny goes, get the gay guy up there already. I don't have time for this shit. So then I go up there and I go, ladies and gentlemen, do you fucking people understand who is sitting in this room right now? This is Joe Klecko. This is one of the greatest defensive linemen of all fucking time. And you need a faggot to fucking tell you? Stand up. Every one of you, get the fuck up right now. And the whole room like went like that. As soon as I'm off the stage, Joe rushes out, comes up to me, hugs me, and goes, "You made my night," and left.
That's awesome.
And
That's
left.
amazing. I got very.
So these are things I just want to say real quick.
Yeah.
These are why you do stand up.
Has comedy gotten you laid? Have you like been up on a mic and then like somebody recognized it? Like, are there groupies in comedy like there are groupies after a rock band? Because like a rock performance, women, for example, you know, it's a very sexual thing almost. Like it's almost like hypnotism. It doesn't seem like it's like that with comedy, but have you have you ever had any experiences?
I got to be honest, like, no, really. I mean, as a rock singer, I was younger as a rock singer. It's just like everyone wants to fuck me. Guy, girl, trans. Like everyone wants a piece of my ass when I was a rock singer. And it's true. And as a comedian, I never really had that. I mean, people, I think, love me.
That's too bad. I was hoping
I think
that
there's people that like sometimes like once I remember I finished a set, like I was in Times Square and there was these two tourists. They were like German guys, or like fucking gorgeous, like models, and they're like, we love you, we want to take you out, come out with us, we take you out. And I'm like, you could take me anywhere you fucking want.
Cool. So,
and then we went out, we went to dinner, we went back to my place. Like nothing happened, but it was just like they were just
so
great.
it's,
It
that's
was
a yes.
cool. It was nice.
That's a
Yeah,
yes.
I did have one. Fuck it. You live once. I'm not pulling punches. I'm not going to lie. I slept with one of my students. Okay. I slept with one of my students. He was of
Mrs.
legal
Robinson
age.
over here.
He started like back in the days, like, I only have a part of the tuition. Can I just give you a deposit and I'll pay their ass? I was like, sure. He came through.
Can I suck you off for the
We
other
had
half
the-
of the
Can I
Listen,
deposit my
we had
dick?
the same agent.
Can I
We
make
had-
a deposit somewhere?
Yeah, we had the same agent. So she's like, "Oh, take care of him and everything." I'm like, "All right." And then
He already had an agent and
then
he
he
was
comes
taking your
back.
class?
We both had the same manager for acting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He came from an acting background.
gotcha.
We had the same acting
Gotcha.
manager, right? Which is the one that got me on stage with Bob Dylan during for the Grammy Awards.
Whoa.
I have a
Whoa,
Grammy
really?
appearance. Next podcast for that
Holy
one.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow,
me
insane.
and Bob, baby.
Dude, I
Playing
went to the
music
Grammys.
or doing
No,
comedy?
I was part of his entourage. I was hired to stand behind Bob and just make him look cool. They hired me, I kid you not, to make Bob Dylan look cool.
That
fucking
honestly
believe
works
it?
for you. I feel
Can you
like.
fucking believe it?
Has
Me.
anyone ever told you look kind of like Flea?
Oh my fucking God. Oh my God. That's wild.
Why?
Because my whole life for so many years, I was told at one point, every single day, that I look like Harrison Ford. Every single day. And
You
I'll show
do kinda
old
look
pic-
like Harrison
I'll show you
Ford.
old picture, but every day I got it.
Yeah.
And then I got out of that stuff, and then I started getting Steve Martin. Steve
Okay.
Martin.
Oh, I see Steve Martin,
Steve
too.
Martin, right. So guess what? No one ever said I look like Flea. Except like 3 months ago, I got it for the first time, and I've gotten it. You're like the fourth person now.
No way, dude.
And that's so offensive because he's
Why?
ugly. You fucking fat piece of shit. I come on your podcast. I bring up your fucking ratings. Yeah, I've got a TV show coming out. I run a fucking comedy empire. And you put me down and say I look like this drug addicted fucking 4'6" tattooed, overrated. He was only good in Jane's Addiction. The rest of it could go out the fucking window. And don't give me the
Now
Chili
I'm
Peppers.
offended.
Oh, you're a Chili Peppers
I'm
fan?
a Chili
please.
Peppers fan.
Oh, you don't know music.
And for me,
Stop.
that was a compliment.
Now that you
know?
like my record doesn't even hold any weight that you like the
Oh,
fucking
shit.
Chili Peppers, the most overrated band of all
Oh,
time.
come on. Flea is a great
I
bass
saw the
Every-
Chili Peppers. I saw Nirvana opened up for the Chili. I went to go see a Chili Peppers. Nirvana
gonna
was the
beat you.
first band, and Pearl Jam
Oh
opened up
my
from them before
God.
You don't
anybody
like
even.
Pearl
I'm gonna
Jam?
beat you. I'm gonna beat you on that. How about this one? How about Jane's
91.
Addiction and Red Hot Chili Peppers playing on my buddy's tennis courts?
Oh, that's fucking dope.
Is that
That's
you're gonna
pretty
beat that?
dope.
You're gonna beat that?
Nah, you're
I
not
had
gonna beat
never
that.
seen Jane's Addiction.
I hate you.
And Ritual to Habitual
When was
was
this?
just
Get
coming
the fuck-
out.
91?
It was Halloween. When did Ritual come
91.
out? 91. There was Halloween in 91.
Holy
The
shit.
record had just coming
Here
out.
in New York.
No, L.A. Wow. I was living in L.A. My rock band was in L.A., yeah. So my buddy goes, look, we're invited to a party. I'm picking you up after work. I'm like, no, I'm working. He goes, look, it's my buddy's place. There's about 1,000 people coming. It's fully catered. They had piñatas. They had like a 15-foot cake that you eat with your hands because the whole thing was like a Hollywood set. And the tennis courts had a stage.
Wow.
And the next thing I know, James comes out and, "Ho, ho, hey!"
Yeah.
And I had
Like who?
just
are
seen
you?
God.
But